Hello and welcome back to Serie A Spotlight. We're your hosts Jake
and Matt.
You know what time it is!
I can't tell you guys enough how much you've been my internal monologue when thinking about football for the last year.
Yes! Amazing! We get to record while drinking some wine. Jake and I will have a very special soft spot for Salernitana.
We love him.
We love him. Stop zooming in on Allegri's face, bro. You're gonna make
How
me
are you
break.
exposing me?
Because you're gonna make me break, man.
Assalamu alaikum and marhaba to Serie A Spotlight. We are your host Jake
And Matt.
here to run you through Matchday 7 in Serie A on our Serie A podcast on episode 194. A little bit different, this one.
Yes, thank you very much, brother, for keeping me on my toes. Keep in mind, we've got a bit of ring rust. Last time we had Dick take over, or Nick, our producer.
Give us a scream.
Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire.
His
Yeah.
head's fucking massive. Yes, Nick is happy, of course, because his United beat Liverpool, or the scum, as y'all like to call them. But we had an amazing episode last time out. We took a week off. All the work was in Nick's hands, and we had all of our lovely patrons and supporters having 5 minutes discussing their teams and giving us a bit of a fan perspective. I want to thank you all for participating in that and, of course, listening to that. We always learn hearing from the fans because we don't watch these teams the same way that the fans do,
Of course.
right?
Yes.
So it's always great if you want to participate in that. Of course, become a patron, but I'll get into all that very soon.
I was impressed by our listeners. They speak very well.
They do, man. They
Yeah.
do. Like when we were starting out the podcast, we didn't speak half as well as these guys do.
Yeah.
So
True.
start a podcast.
All of you.
Exactly. All of you start a podcast and we will become patrons to all of them, I guess. So we're going to be covering match day 7 in Serie A. What can define this match day is that Milan have gone top of Serie A after beating Fiorentina 2-1. And of course, Inter beat Roma 1-0 away from home, and Roma were previously first. Como beat Juve 2-0, and Juve were previously first as well. And Torino beat Napoli 1-0, and Napoli were first as well. So this was an absolute dream week for Milan. There was, of course, as well a 0-0 between Atalanta and Lazio. I did feel like Atalanta deserved that victory. So it's only me that thinks that, but it's the XG. As well, there was Cagliari 0, Bologna 2, a really hard-fought victory for Bologna in a tough stadium. Cremonese 1, Udinese 1. I thought Cremonese were unlucky to draw this game in front of their own fans. Another really good performance by Cremonese. They continue to impress me. We also had Lecce 0, Sassuolo 0.
القول قول الصوارم كي تسترد المظالم حتى الأراذيل ساموا رسول أهل العزائم القول قول الصوارم كي تسترد
Genoa 0, Parma 0.
المظالم حتى الأراذيل ساموا رسول
And to end things off, we'll discuss Pisa 0, Verona 0.
أهل العزائم القول قول الصوارم كي تسترد المظالم.
As for our goals of the week, so firstly, just to say, just 11 goals in this match day. 4 0-0s. We saw a lot of maybe not necessarily pragmatic football. They weren't down to biscotti, because we did see Genoa absolutely ram Parma as they were a man down, and they took a last-minute penalty save from Suzuki, for example. We saw in Atalanta Lazio. Atalanta had a huge XG, I think almost 2.0 in XG. So it wasn't exactly that teams weren't trying, but it's just, at this point in the season, I feel like the smaller teams just don't want to lose games, right?
That's the priority right now, especially in the direct encounters. The whole haram ball thing it comes from having to wait 2 weeks to watch Serie A because of the international break. And the first 2 games that are on at the same time both end 0-0.
In fact, it was a dreadful Saturday. I think there was like 1 goal on Saturday, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't quite remember, man, to be honest.
Roma.
Let's see.
I think. something like that. But just 11 goals in 10 matches of football, that is not what we are used to. People do say that Serie A is a more defensive league, but over the years, we've been surprised with the amount of goals that there has been.
Yeah, 2 goals, because there was Simeone's and Bonni's.
Of course,
Exactly,
of course. Yes, a lot of upsets in this week. Can't wait to get into all of that. Before we do, our goal of the week, I will start off and say that my goal of the week is Kempf's in the 4th minute between Como and Juventus, simply because so Paz takes the corner, plays it straight to Da Cunha. Da Cunha feints the cross and backheels the ball back to Nico Paz, who gives an in-swinging, monstrous cross that is then hit. I can't remember if it was a header or a volley, to be honest, but hit over the line by Kemp from super close range. It bypassed absolutely every Juve player. Obviously, questions to be asked of Juve's defense, but it's all in the cross and the build-up. I can't even remember if the goal was a
that's
header
it. That's it.
or
The goal. It's not about the finish, but about the build-up.
Surely it was a header.
It was
right?
no. He kicked it, bro.
He kicked
That was even cooler. He kicked it into the roof of the net. He kicked it upwards.
Yes, Kemp. That is his I believe he scored another important goal, and that was against Fiorentina. So Kemp, quite a big match player. So yes, another great performance by Paz and a great goal by Kemp.
Yeah. So that left me with Leao's and Orsolini's to choose between. Both great goals, of course. Shout out to Simeone, who scored a great goal as well, and Nico Paz scored a very good goal too. Simeone's was particularly cool because he had everyone on the floor and he just essentially walked it into the net. Really cool. But for me, I'll go with Leao's goal. Of course, I wore this kit for that reason. Nice to have him back scoring at San Siro. It's been a while. And what a goal. We haven't seen him score from distance in some time.
No, it was good to see his a bit more of all-round play, of course, from Leao, and that was a very important goal. Milan weren't exactly creating clear-cut chances, right? So a moment of magic was needed.
Exactly.
And
he had to step up.
And a bit of a different moment of magic because, well, we'll get into the game later because there's a lot I want to say.
Fair enough.
Before we say anything else, shout out to our media partners, Benevo Bid. I do have a lot of pressure to get this right now because Nick really praised me on how well I praise Benevo Bid and how well I give these shout outs. But check out our link in bio to bid on autographed items from top players, including match issued kits. Most of the proceeds go to charity. And guys, Christmas is coming up, so be charitable, buy gifts for people, and also, if you're on a budget, get your bids in nice and early. Don't wait for anyone else to bid 100 on it. Just go straight in there. Get your bid in nice and early. And who knows, maybe you can walk away with a coupe, a 2006 signed Grosso World Cup kit. You know what I mean?
Beautiful.
Amazing stuff. Thank you to Benevo Bid. Check out our link in bio. If you guys are new here, make sure to follow us on all our socials, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, subscribe to us on YouTube, and rate us 5 stars wherever you get your podcast. We do have a 5-star standard on Spotify. Apple Podcast ratings need some work because we did have some audio issues, which we have since solved over there, so show us some extra love there. Guys, we do weekly episodes covering every single match, every single team, every single week, and we even have bonus episodes every week, Tactics Imperium by our very own tactical analyst Gianluca Lia. If you really love us, please become a patron. It's just $3.99 a month and you'll be added to a Discord channel with 50 plus like-minded legends with multiple channels for different discussions, and you can even win a free kit if you win our fantasy league. Also, since we had this special episode last week, you'll even have the opportunity for us to call you in during an episode and you could tell us about your favorite team, how they performed, what you like, what you don't like. And in such episodes during the international break, when we'd need people to step in for us, check out our last episode, see what that was all about, see what our patrons had to say. You could potentially be one of those.
The goal down the line eventually is to have the equipment essentially to be able to call in our patrons live and get their take on a game live on air. That would be really cool. We are working our way to actually managing to do this. Right now our equipment isn't exactly ideal. It would be a little bit laggy, so with your contributions we can continue to improve. Now to the fun stuff. Our fantasy league, of course, currently we've got Inter your mom in first place. He's 30 points clear. Huh?
Oh no,
Yes,
man.
bro, it's happening. It's David Vavra, of course.
Shout out to David.
SSC Drees Nuts trailing second place. That is Brandon Sheik Retegi. You can play the audio. Is in third place. That's Tim, of course, followed by Keen Fiend. That's Kyler, not Keen Friend. And then there's Cut and Out Choke Me Maxi. And that is
new.
Alan.
Hey,
shooting
Alan.
up to the top 5, of course. And
He's
then
changed
sixth.
that. I think it was Allegri
Yes.
ball or something.
And just so you understand my living situation right now, I am in 30th and my girlfriend is in 6th.
Dude, where the fuck am I, man? Where the fuck am I? Why do I not matter? He's talking about Sarah.
You know, because she's in
But
the top
Sarah,
10, bro.
th-
She's
this-
right here.
this is-
But
this
she's
is-
between Cut and Out Choke Me Maxi and Ardon's Hard On. But Daddy I Love Skamaka is her team name. Should I be
Yes.
concerned? Let me know in the comments and pork the like button while you're at it.
I'm in 20th. I'm not very proud of that.
But you're 10 places above me. Huh?
And I'm not proud of it. Let's
All
start.
right,
Let's
yes.
start. It's Milan 2, Fiorentina 1, right? Now for everyone that's a Milan fan and has got their head between their two shoulders, this was one thing, and it was the return of Pioli to San Siro, right? The man that took Milan out of the banter era, got them back into Champions League football after such a long layoff, got Milan to win the league with really, really limited resources, man. I mean, with Junior Messias on the right wing. This guy is an absolute legend. I've contemplated getting a Pioli tattoo, and that ship still not has sailed. It was nice seeing him speaking to Ibrahimovic, someone that he brought in himself to help Milan win the league and reinstill that winning mentality, and that worked out. So far, his time at Fiorentina hasn't exactly worked out. He is still winless in the league in the opening 7 matches. Milan, on the other hand, have really grown since letting go of Pioli and letting go of Conceição and Fonseca. They came into this game with 4 wins, 1 draw and 1 loss in their first 6 matches. However, during the international break where, great, our players get to rest, essentially Milan's top players went off injured. So Christian Pulisic injured his hamstring as the US national team were basically working him in overtime.
Against Australia in a friendly match.
Against Australia in a friendly match, exactly. Rabiot injured his calf, among others, plus Nkunku was out injured, and so was Pervis Estupinian. However, Bartezaghi, right?
Yeah. By the way, a little bit on Pioli. Yeah, this was his 500th match as Serie
Congrats,
A
mister.
coach. His record for Milan was 240 official matches with a record of 130 wins, 58 draws and 52 defeats. That's not bad.
Not bad at all.
Yeah.
I mean, and a league title and a Champions League semi-final
Exactly.
and multiple Champions League spots as well. Let's get into the lineups. Allegri's men lined up in a 3-5-2 with Manyan in goal and the classic back line of Pavlovic, Gabi and Tomori. Bartezaghi was on the left instead of Estupinian. Athekame was on the right. And the midfield three of Ricci, Modric and Fofana. So this is the first time this season that Ricci actually started a game and got 90 minutes. Up top, it was Leao and Salemakers. Why wasn't Leao on the right instead of Athekame and Santi Jimenez starting striker? We don't know. I think Milan wanted to go for more of a counter-attacking approach against Fiorentina. right?
Allegri said, had I started Santiago Jimenez, I wouldn't have had a striker on the bench.
Fair enough. Milan also had like 5 players on the bench.
Yeah.
I was shocked.
But
watching
with
the
that
lineups.
logic, unless he counts like Pulisic as a striker, I think maybe he's kind of hinting at the fact that this may happen more regularly. No?
Yeah, but
Because
Nkunku
you
was
might
out
need-
injured as well, and so was Pulisic, and those are viewed as strikers.
Yes, but if you need a game, if you need a goal late on in a game, you want a proper 9 in the box. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's tighter. So I guess Santiago Jimenez is the only one who fits that mold.
Yes, so you're saying that Santi might be starting on the bench a lot more
Yes,
regularly
yes,
this
I
season.
think so.
I wouldn't be surprised. That's a
Yeah.
good point. For Pioli's men, it was a 3-5-1-1 formation. David De Gea on goal. Backline of Pongracic, Mari and Ranieri. Dodo on the right. Gosens on the left. And the midfielder of Mandragora. And our patron, his name escapes me right now, called Caviglia, Nico Pussy Caviglia. It's fucking brilliant.
Who was it?
Here's a Viola Papi.
Viola Papi. Viola Papa.
Viola Papa.
Yeah.
Nico Pussy Caviglia and Fagioli, with Fazzini starting behind Moise Kean. So once again, he went for that lone striker approach. First half, haram ball, right? Really slow from both sides. Milan looked to want to absorb pressure and counter-attack. Fiorentina going forward, look a bit clueless, don't know where to play the ball. So it was a bit of a bore, a bit of a snooze fest, right? However, in the 55th minute, worryingly for Milan fans, Fiorentina took the lead through a really sloppy goal. It was a corner that wasn't cleared properly, and Robin Gosens ended up bundling the ball over the line to make it 1-0. Shortly after, 63rd minute, Milan equalised as Leao cut inside and fired a low strike from around 23 metres out to make it 1-1. Brilliant goal, Jake's goal of the week. And then in the 86th minute, this was pure drama, right? Santi Jimenez goes down in the box clutching his face. A replay showed from a particular angle that it looked like Parisi dragged him down from his shoulder, and classic Jimenez made a bit of a meal for it. He's very smart in these scenarios. Getting another angle on that, you do see a finger that is quite close to Santi's eye, so there was a pull on the face, which did go down to the shoulder. Controversial as always.
Soft,
but
it's soft. But it's also clumsy.
In today's day and age, that is a penalty.
Yes,
Can we agree on that in today's day and age?
I mean, it's very soft, and I wouldn't necessarily agree in an ideal world, but yes, we've seen this given so many times. And this takes me to what you said when Parisi was actually coming on.
Thank you. I was going to say it myself.
But it's not the same if you say it. It just sounds like you're bragging.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you.
You said Parisi's coming on, bro. Now's our chance. The error-prone Parisi.
Yeah, he has not looked the same since joining Fiorentina. He really hasn't, especially defensively, man. He was
at Empoli, wasn't he?
Yes,
he was very promising.
Great at Empoli,
and he had a good first season at Parisi, but I don't think he got enough game time.
Yeah,
exactly. At Fiorentina.
And a lot of the guys that left Empoli are struggling. Cambiaghi has since found his feet, but there's I always mix them up. Who's the guy that used to start with Baldanzi. Struggling at Roma. Fazzini is still finding his feet, but yes. So Milan awarded that penalty. Great stuff by Santi Jimenez, the runs he was making off the ball, the fact that he went down strategically over there. It looked like Fofana was going to take the penalty, bro. We said, oh God, the only player that can't shoot on the team is stepping up to take a penalty. I did my research. Apparently, he's a fantastic penalty taker.
And apparently, it's being said that it might have been to ease some of the psychological pressure that the Fiorentina players were trying to put on the penalty taker.
God, I love this shit.
So if Fofana's holding the ball and they're trying to distract him, and then suddenly, Leao steps up and puts it on the spot, you waste a lot of time. You're targeting the wrong person.
Amazing.
Very clever.
Amazing, really clever.
I don't know if this is actually true or if Fofana was actually planning on taking that and shooting it into row Z, to be honest, because that's all I've ever seen him shoot.
However, to give you the point, Milan last year were not street smart in the slightest.
At all.
And it's because they didn't have street smart managers. What do Milan have this season? A street smart manager who has been there, and these kind of tactics is what you would expect from a street smart manager.
Yeah.
Leao stepped up, took it really coolly. And of course, we were all worried, Milan hat on for a second. I was hella worried because the last time Milan got a penalty against Fiorentina, they got two in a single game, and David De Gea very brilliantly saved both of them. One of them was even very well struck, but really cool head by Leao. Showed a lot of maturity to step up over there, send David De Gea the wrong way, shoot it cleanly into the bottom corner. Great penalty for him. Milan take home 3 points, and it's another loss for Fiorentina, and subsequently, man, Milan go top again, brother.
Yes. Now, when it comes to Milan's performance, I thought this was particularly impressive because of the situation that Milan found themselves in. The key performers were out for this game so far this season. Salamakers was playing in a strange, atypical position as a striker. And when you look at the bench, it's actually quite concerning because it was this long. The list was like 5 players, 6 players? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players on the bench.
Jeez,
you've got Sala, Odogu, Pittarella, Terracciano, Valentien, De Winter, and Jimenez. That was the bench for Milan. So getting the job done against a Fiorentina with so much of a point to prove, and the manager who also has a point to prove against a team he won the league with, and a team that things ended kind of a little bit weirdly between them. You know what I mean? Like, I think this was a massive victory, and I think that Milan, to be honest, once again dominated, and I think Milan have had the better stats. You look at the stats, you know, I mean, stats isn't everything, but it obviously helps you to understand the context.
Yeah.
You look at the stats after every single Milan game this season, including the Cremonese game, Milan are dominant.
When
in
it
every
comes to
regard.
XG, when it comes to possession,
Shots
Milan
conceded, things like that, man. Milan are just totally dominant.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and I think we all knew that Allegri was gonna bring some stability to Milan, but I, for one, I'm really pleasantly surprised by just how much of that he did. In a game like this where you go 1-0 down, of course, Conceição will love the comeback, but Allegri typically likes to score early and control the games. It's good to know. And we've seen a lot of growth in Allegri on how he plays his football, etc. with Milan, which isn't exactly always haram ball. Of course, this was a bit more of a cautious approach because of the injuries, so on and so forth. But it's good to see the capability of the team to go down and then to get 2 goals and to win the game. That shows a lot of growth, really.
And after Fiorentina scored, Milan immediately shifted gear. But it wasn't panicked.
Yeah.
It wasn't hasty. Everything was controlled. Everyone was calm. And I love that. There was no panic, nothing.
On the other side, you see a Fiorentina team that they're often, they go 1-0 up and they haven't won a single game yet, right? They're really struggling for creativity. They're really struggling to control chances. And on the back end of that, it's not like they're defensively solid. I think there's a huge problem, and I completely agree with Viola Papa in the Patreon episode, where they don't win the ball back.
Yeah.
They do not win the ball back.
There's
which is
a
something that
gaping
they used
hole
to
in the middle, man.
Yes, man. Yes, and Milan's midfield, obviously. Now, Ricci didn't exactly show what Rabiot shows. Rabiot is better for that role, let's be honest. Ricci is more of a deep-lying playmaker. He did the part well, but that's where Milan won the game, in my opinion. In midfield, they were in full control throughout. Of course, Fiorentina had their chances towards the end as they were pressing. When they were 1-1, Pioli brought on Piccoli and he brought on Goodmanson. He was really going for the win, and Milan took advantage over there.
Yeah, but the defensive responsibility is shared. So, for example, you have Fofana with 5 recoveries. You have Ricci with 7 recoveries, and then Modric with 6. And Modric, when you look at the ground duels, it's absolutely incredible. He won 6 out of 8 ground duels when defending as well. So, while none of these players are exactly defensive midfielders by nature, they split the responsibility and they all work for each other, and they can all contribute defensively. This is kind of like the midfield 3 that, of course, to a very different extent, that Inter had going on, though, with Mkhitaryan, with Çalhanoğlu and Barella. None of them are particularly defensive players, but they can all put in a shift defensively, and it's mostly their effort that goes noticed.
No, absolutely, completely agreed. Just go back to Fiorentina for a second. I am very worried about them. I am very worried about Fiorentina. I think we had said going into the international break that was the time if they were going to sack Pioli, and unfortunately I'm not sure I agree that they should sack Pioli yet. They had their easier fixtures. Now they have a stretch of tough fixtures in a row. So probably what's going to happen now is they're going to stretch that to around 9-10 games without a victory, and then they're going to sack Pioli and they would have lost 6 to 9 more points in that way. Can you remind me what their upcoming games are? Maybe I'm exaggerating.
No, they've got Bologna, Inter next.
And
Bologna
then-
and Inter, and then Lecce.
And then Lecce. So Milan
In
was one of
between,
the tough games.
Conference League games.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Milan and then Bologna and then Inter.
Yeah.
That is no easy feat.
Personally, I don't even think they played badly, and I don't think they've been playing as badly as people have made out. To be honest, the game against Roma was a decent performance, and the one against Milan this time, I thought they performed quite well. If it weren't for that clumsy mistake, they would have got the draw. You know.
Potentially it is.
Potentially, yes,
However,
of course.
when you have a team that doesn't play terribly and they don't win games, we often say and
They
this
lose,
works-
they don't even draw. like,
Exactly.
yeah.
This is the opposite of what we say about a championship winning team. They have to win the games where they play shit.
Yeah.
But these guys can't fucking win the games where they play well. So it's the complete opposite end of the spectrum problem that they
Yeah.
have, and it's a very worrying problem. However, Viola fans, I'm here wearing a Fiorentina kit in solidarity with you. Just remember what Roma went through last season and how they managed to pick it up, and they just missed out on Champions League in the last moments. It's a good
Very good
squad.
point.
They've got the best striker in the league, in my opinion. Maybe not the best striker, but one of the best strikers in the league.
Yes.
Only 1 goal in 7 games, but that's because the entire team is struggling.
And of course, there are some nuances that need to be sorted out. This whole midfield situation needs to be fixed. They've got
The
Indoor
Goodmanson role, bro.
and the Goodmanson role. That's the next thing. So Indoor or Richardson, one of them, I think, needs to start being involved, just like Viola Papa said in the Patreon episode. I think that Goodmanson needs to take some of his form with the Iceland national team to Fiorentina, because they are 2 different players entirely.
Completely.
You see this guy terrorizing France in the international break, Goodmanson. How is this the same guy who can't even hit a pass for Fiorentina? You know, so that needs to be sorted. While Fagioli, Fazzini, Caviglia and Mandragora need to kind of get used to coexisting together, and I feel like maybe there are a few too many similarities in there. Particularly, I don't know, I'm not too sure on Fazzini's role personally.
Yeah, and Fazzini is one of this is why they say that the number 10 role is dying in football, right? It's because there isn't always the space to have that free role kind of player over there. And then how well does a free role player fit into a structured system where they're either playing a double pivot or in a 3-man midfield? You need a really good manager to make that work, and someone that understands the player a bit more. And Pioli, bless him, he just started off with them. Maybe he doesn't understand the players to their full capacity yet. Plus, on the Goodmanson not linking up well with Keane thing, I think they enjoy attacking the same space. I thought that Retegui and Goodmanson worked because Retegui was like an in-the-box striker.
An anchor almost.
An
up
anchor.
front.
Keane is almost like Osimhen, where if you knock the ball up, you're expecting Keane to get it.
That's true.
When the ball was knocked up for Genoa, you see Goodmanson running towards the ball to get the ball and to drive the ball. That's not quite what we're seeing over here. I don't think he's quite used to Keane's movement yet, and Keane isn't used to. There isn't that harmony between the movements that they have. I think over time it can sort itself
at the end
out.
of the day, we are 7 matches in. There are 10 places off a Europa League spot.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's still very early, of course, and I don't think that when you employ a manager like Pioli, you should be trigger happy, because the man has a reputation now. The man's a winner.
Exactly.
The man has won the league with a team that shouldn't have won the league, probably.
Exactly. With a stroke of luck as well. Milan hats on, brother. Milan hats on.
Okay.
I'm very excited by this victory. You look at Milan's past 3 games. In the beginning, everyone was saying, but Milan are only beating the smaller teams. Now, Milan have a win against Napoli, a draw against Juve, and a win against Fiorentina. That is 7 points out of a potential 9 against 3 of the bigger teams in Serie A. So how about that? I think Milan, I put them in the top 4 confidently. We had them in second coming into that. I think that with limited resources Milan have over here, seeing them still being able to have the performance that they had and to win the game as well, I think that shows a team that is capable of winning the league. I'm not saying they're favourites by any stretch of the imagination. They are not.
Of course, I mean,
Napoli and Inter are probably
ahead. The bookies have Napoli and Inter. They have,
they
ahead
probably
of
have
Milan.
Juve. They probably
Exactly.
had Juve ahead as well. But I think Milan are there, man. I think Milan can really go for it. And I do want to credit a lot of this to Leao. Leao had a massive point to prove, because Leao had a good game against Bari, and he has this new role as a starting striker when he's not known for his finishing, but rather his runs down the flank. He came back against Juve and he completely flopped, and he missed 2 huge chances, and it was his fault.
Yeah.
Those 2 chances that he missed were his fault. Of course, Pulisic missed the penalty as well, but whatever. Now he had an opportunity, because he started the game with Nkunku out injured and with Pulisic out injured. He had no excuses now. He's recovered from his injury. He's healthy. He's fit. And he got some minutes against Juve. And he came in. Milan went down and Leao stepped up, right? He stepped up, scored a marvellous goal, netted the penalty. And if Milan can have the organisation that they had with a star player like Leao coming in and really grabbing games by the scruff of their neck and finding consistency, I think that is a recipe for a team that can go very far together.
Yes, I am in agreement with you, brother. I think that this was Leao's moment with all the injuries. You look at this team and you think it's either going to be a goal from a centre-back or Leao's going to decide it, you know what I mean? You don't expect Salamakers, Fofana, Ricci, Bartazaki or Atakame to score the goal, you know, for you. So I'm happy that he shouldered the responsibility and even took a penalty, you know, and especially after that Juve game, like you said, yes, this was a very mature performance by Leao. He tried to take off his T-shirt, by the way.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Which is ridiculous. Like, why get the yellow card after scoring a penalty, you know? But Gabbia thankfully kept his T-shirt on for him by pulling it down.
With that being said, Gabbia needs to be captain. We've seen Kessie being captain, and we've seen Romagnoli being captain when they were on their way out.
And now we have Mike Magnan captain on his way out.
Exactly. So we need to see Gabbia as captain. That should be a lesson learned. And also, huge shout out once again, because Bartezaghi has not had easy opponents on the side. He has since faced Chico Conceição, he's faced Politano and Neres as well. And now he faced Dodo. And he has been clean, man.
He's been good,
clean,
man.
Really good.
Very imposing, big boy.
Yeah. And on the other side, Atekame, who had a decent showing for his first start in Milan colours. And Salamakers, who started as a striker and then undertook the role at right wing back.
Yes.
Amazing.
How gassed are you whenever Valentien comes on?
So gassed.
So gassed. I might buy a Gucci fanny pack just so I wear it when he comes on.
Balenciaga,
that's the one.
That's what we call him on the group chat.
Balenciaga.
So yes, Milan good, Fiorentina bad. To sum it all up. And yes, over to you, brother, for the next game, unless there's something you'd like to add.
Nothing from my end, brother. The next game was Roma 0, Inter 1. This was a pivotal 1-0 victory that temporarily propelled Inter to the top of the table alongside Napoli, both with 15 points at the time. This was their 5th victory in a row at the Olimpico.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So they're showing dominance. By the way, the last time Fiorentina beat Milan at San Siro was in 2019. Ribéry had scored. You remember the game?
Oh my god. I remember the game very clearly.
So for Roma, it was Svilar in goal as they lined up in a 3-4-2-1 formation with Indica, Mancini and Hermoso at the back. Celik, Cristante, Con and Wesley were in the middle, with Sule and Pellegrini playing off of Dybala, who started as kind of like a false 9 striker.
Yeah.
For Inter, it was a 3-5-2 with Sommer in goal, Bastoni, Acerbi and Akanji at the back, Dumfries and DeMarco out wide on the flanks, with Mkhitaryan, Çalhanoğlu and Barella in the middle, Lautaro partnering Boni up front. So the match was decided by an early goal from Boni in the 6th minute, who capitalized on a well-timed through ball from Barella, but more importantly than that is Roma's awkwardly clumsy high line with Celik essentially keeping Boni onside, and Mancini seeming to give more attention to the referee than to actually tracking his man, right? Because I don't know, I watched that. We watched it so many times together before recording, bro. This strange nonchalance of Roma's defense.
It was hard to fathom how Indica came to take on, came to tackle Boni all the way from the left-hand side, and he had to
run past Mancini
in front of Mancini to get to him. Mancini was in way closer proximity. He's not the quickest, but bro, you're aggressive. Get in there, like, man, get in there. If you tug him on the shirt a little bit, you're gonna set him off. He had to do something there, man.
Exactly. And then Boni found himself in a situation where I think he took a touch that was a little bit too heavy, and he found himself in a very awkward angle, and he managed to finish and to score, thankfully, because Svilar was a little bit clumsy, thankfully for Boni, because I think the move there is definitely to pass. And if that was one of my players and they didn't pass over there, automatically I'm labeling them, I'm judging them in my head.
I don't even think he saw the run, man. I think that he was so focused on positioning himself. I think, yes, he took the ball to the right because
he made
he's
it harder.
right-footed, but he closed his angle. He closed the amount of net that was in his line of vision. So suddenly it's like, oh fuck, like I have to go for the near post. Svilar anticipated him going for the far post because if he's shooting with his right, he's likely going for a power shot across the face of goal or to try cross-shot the ball to Di Marco. And it went into the near post and completely under Svilar, who should have done better there. For the Serie A goalkeeper MVP of last season.
Definitely should have done better. But great for Boni, who is on top form, who's really impressing. It's crazy that Inter now have 2 sub-strikers who are setting the league alight.
Suddenly.
Yeah. I think they've outperformed both their sub-strikers collectively last season, probably.
And the good thing is that you don't have an aging striker like Arnautovic who has essentially no motivation to break into the team or to learn from anyone, you know what I mean? And Taremi, who is new to the league and whatever. You have Boni and Pio, who know the Italian league, albeit obviously Pio knows Serie B, Boni knows Serie A, however, and he knows the manager as well.
Yeah.
And you have them fighting because they want to start for Inter. And they want to, that would be the pinnacle of their career. So they are in that situation, they're fighting for it, and they're driven and they're hungry. And Inter are going to play multiple competitions. So these guys are going to get a lot of time. And do you remember last season when we used to say Inter substitutes cannot replicate what Inter starters do because they are so different stylistically. These guys are so different stylistically to the starters. There's no striker like Pio and there's no striker like Boni at Inter, albeit Boni is a bit similar to Thuram in that sense. But they bring something different and the manager knows how to work with that.
I think they do bring something different, but the important thing is that their game is extremely well-rounded, all of them. So they can pretty much do anything, you know? I mean, Pio and Boni can both come deep for the ball. They can both run behind. Like they're all very complete. So nothing is left to be desired when Inter are attacking.
Would think that to improve, you need to improve your bench players rather than your starters. How weird.
So Roma dominated possession, but despite this, it was 57% for Roma. They created 12 shots in the second half, but they struggled to convert opportunities despite this. Sommer made some very good saves. Roma's finishing was lacking, and notably Dovbyk missed a header that would have got the equalizer. This was a terrible miss. So we're talking about a corner over here, a perfectly weighted corner by Dybala that was put just beyond Sommer to the point that Sommer thought he could get it and he ran out. I forgot who the player was who rose and won the ball in the air and headed it past Sommer to give Dovbyk an open header, free header, and he somehow managed to sky.
Yeah, he got underneath.
He got underneath the ball.
He got underneath the ball and completely and I
Massive
saw him do
miss.
the exact same thing, albeit a harder chance earlier on this season as well. He is not in form, man. He got a goal recently, which we thought would. When a striker finds a goal, that means he's on better form, his confidence goes up, so he scores more. But still so fragile mentally, and it's not like Evan Ferguson is ready. So I was ready to shit on Gasperini because A, he's a bit shorter than me. And B, he started Dybala and the false 9 role. And we've seen it not work because he literally did it against Torino and they lost, and it was the only game that they lost. And he's like, you know how we won 5 games and lost 1 so far? I'm going to use the lineup of the only game that we lost to Torino. And he went for that, and no shit, he lost against Inter. And Dybala and Soler don't really work together. It was a little bit awkward. They didn't really have a target man to play to. And I just feel like it didn't work, but he's so short of options, right? Because Evan Ferguson is off form, Dovbyk is off form, and if you have Dybala, you're like, I can't find an excuse not to play this guy because he's magic when he's on.
I liked Dybala's performance, to be honest with you. I do agree with you that that the last time we saw him as a false 9, it was ineffective, but this time he put in a decent performance. Man, I thought he caused some problems. He played in a dangerous ball at one point to Pellegrini. He had 2 shots on target, 5 shot creating actions, 4 key passes, and the highest expected assists as well. He had a pretty impressive performance. Same with Soler. The thing with these 2 players, it's a shame that they're both left-footed.
Yeah.
Because you look at Soler as well, he had 1 shot on target, 4 shot creating actions, 3 key passes, 8 progressive passes, 11 progressive passes received. They're just all over it, they're creating so much. But that high line is extremely naive. I think that needs work, especially when you have centre backs who aren't the quickest. What are you doing?
Yeah,
against Inter with a high line like
and
that,
it's
right?
great because
And they got caught out again after. It was bizarre to me.
sometimes, man, I like to think that my opinion doesn't matter because coaches know a lot more than me, right?
Yes.
But I can't fathom how you have the team that have scored the most goals this season in Serie A, the most goals last season in Serie A, and probably the most goals the season before, right, in Serie A. And Inter, they're the most dangerous team going forward, especially on the counter because they're so quick. And with Kivu, they're a lot more vertical. So how the fuck do you go up with a half line? I don't get it. Like, am I not seeing something? Am I stupid? That I don't understand because to me it's common sense. How can you play a high line? Now, sure, it works when Barca do it, and they've neutralized teams because if you are half a millimeter offside, you're offside. So it can work, but it didn't.
It's more like, that their strikers are quicker than your defenders. So what are you doing? Plus, that there are many players on that Inter team capable of playing a good ball. Literally everyone. They've got...
What a ball by Barella.
Barella, amazing,
What
man,
a ball.
amazing. I mean, even DeMarco can play a ball, Bastoni, Mkhitaryan, they can all play the ball. Speaking of, I want to give a shout out to Mkhitaryan because everyone goes on about how, you have De Bruyne in Serie A still doing it at his age. You have Modric, and I think Modric is, of course, the top tier old man in Serie A at the moment.
Absolutely.
The absolute best. There isn't anyone remotely close to him. However, then you have in second place, and this is my opinion, you've got Henrik Mkhitaryan.
I agree, and
Because
he's been doing it for a while.
He's been doing it for a while, and he is absolutely tireless. He's so involved. Granted, his finishing is a little bit wayward. Some of his passes in the first half were a little bit clumsy, but it's the fact that he is such an important reference point for Inter. And everything goes through him, and he's so involved, and he's constantly calling for the ball. And I'm constantly impressed by Mkhitaryan.
Brother, this is the 3rd season in a row that Inter signed someone to take on his role. So 3 seasons ago, they signed Frattesi, and he hasn't displaced him. The season after, they signed Zielinski, and he didn't manage to displace him. Now they signed Sucic, who he's young, he's very promising, but still hasn't managed to displace him.
That's an interesting point, huh?
Credit to Henrik Mkhitaryan because he's pivotal to how this team plays and he clearly does things that a lot of other players haven't managed to do quite yet.
Yes.
So I completely agree with you. Shout out to Acerbi as well, who in his age has also been excellent. And who was that keeper of Chievo Verona that had saved Ronaldo's penalty with the white hair, man? Sorrentino. He was a lovely old man as well.
Lovely old man.
A lovely old man.
Yeah. Some other things I would like to mention before we move on. Of course, Manu Kone is a powerhouse in midfield. He is so dominant, and Roma really need to take care of him.
Yep.
Because he's so bloody good. He's one of the best midfielders in the league, I think. He had 62 touches, 6 shot created actions, 3 key passes, 2 clearances, 5 ball recoveries. He drew 4 fouls as well. He's so complete.
Madonna, man. What
He's
a
so
beast.
complete.
What a beast.
Yeah, kind of reminds me a little bit of the likes of Frank Kessie, but with a lot more technical ability.
Yep.
Yeah, and less strength, because Kessie, of course.
Yeah, it was the Hulk.
Yes. So when it comes to players who kind of had an interesting showing, but you can't exactly determine much from it. So Ziolkowski, is that how you pronounce his name?
Yeah,
Came on in the second half.
So.
He looked alright. He won 2 tackles, 2 clearances. he played 2 balls in the final third in the last 36 minutes. He looked lively.
Yeah.
And Bailey, despite not having played much, looked very fast.
Yeah, he looked nippy,
he
bro.
looked nippy,
is the word, I
fast.
feel. Yeah.
Yes, extremely
He does
fast.
look like a very direct player, someone that likes to attack the goal.
In theory, that's a Gasperini player, no?
I saw him on the right. Why they see him on the right? They've got 2 left footers. Why didn't they put him in on the left?
have
I
no
don't know.
idea, bro.
I think it fit in really well on the left because
Yeah.
they're playing Pellegrini, who is the opposite of what Gasperini looks for in a player. So having Sule with his left foot on the right and having Leon Bailey on the left, I feel like would fit very well. Am I mistaken to think that he's a right footer, Leon Bailey?
Double check that.
If he's a left footer, it's very weird that they signed another left footer. He is in fact a left footer.
That's bizarre. They've got so many left footers, man.
Jesus, man.
Yes. That's actually bizarre.
That is quite crazy. That is maybe he could still do a shift on the left because on the left is where they need a player. Let's be honest.
Exactly. I would also like to give a shout out to Sommer, who had a great performance, pulled off some amazing saves, and what would become a man of the match performance by him.
Yeah.
Thought he was great. Secondly, I think if it weren't for Sommer, I would give it to Mkhitaryan though, because I enjoyed his performance.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I thought he had a great performance. Little bit more on Roma. They struggled to score goals. They've won games by 1 goal margins. I believe most of the games 1-0. They actually have how many goals do they have this season? Do I have the table opened up? Almost. I have the Europa League table pulled up for some fucking weird reason. They actually have just this
Here we go.
amount of goals.
They
Oh my
actually have
god, 7.
7 goals.
They just
Okay.
have 7 goals in 7 games,
Mhm.
right?
They got many 1-0 victories, no?
many
That's it.
1-0 victories. So in a game like this where they concede early and then the team shut up shop, and that's an interesting point as well. We're not used to seeing Kivu shut up shop so early, right? Maybe at Parma, but we haven't really seen it at Inter.
Yeah.
But he shut up shop really well. It kind of reminded me of last season's Inter, who would get a lead and then kind of sit back, a bit more of Simone Inzaghi style. But it was good to see because obviously it went through for him.
Yeah, correct. So this means that Roma haven't beaten Inter at the Olympicos since October 2nd, 2016, when they won 2-1. Since then, there have been 9 encounters in the capital, with Inter winning 6 of them.
Insane.
Yeah.
Insane. Great stuff, brother.
Thank you very much. Yes, I think we can move on from this one. I think it was a good performance. Perhaps a draw might have been deserved because Roma were all over them, but of course you would imagine that Inter did play a little bit more pragmatically because of their advantage.
I do have to say Inter are serious contenders. I think Inter will not only make top 4. I know the new manager, this and that, doesn't have too much experience, but Inter are looking really good.
They are looking
They're
good.
looking really
And
good,
they
and I
have-
am scared of Inter. Which is obviously it goes to show that they have been excellent. I think they're back, and I think they have a chip on their shoulder, and I think they want to win the title. So
Yeah, I mean,
Inter are here, bro.
they are here, yes. And if the manager is inexperienced, yes, but the players have the most experience in the
Yeah.
league by far.
And hey, maybe what they need is a sponge. Listen, mister, we find it really good. We used to do this under Conte. We used to do this under Simone. Let's do this. We
Yeah.
think it'll work well. And Kivu, as a young sponge, would be like, yes, man.
Spongela bubba.
Spongela bobo. Next, my turn.
Yes.
Juve's first loss of the season. Como 2, Juve 0. Juve entered this match, so they started the season off so lit, 3 wins in a row. But they came into this game with 3 draws in a row. Como entered this match on 2 wins, 3 draws, and 1 loss. Juve were missing Gleason Bremer, of course, who was out with a knee injury. I believe it's a problem in his meniscus. And also Cabal, who came back from injury and instantly got injured again after they played him in a Champions League match, I think. Como missed Jesus Rodriguez, Sergi Roberto, Dossena, Adai, and Kun, with Ramon and Van der Brempt not 100%. So Como I'll be honest.
Decimated.
Huge squad. They've got like 40 players, but decimate. Oh,
We missed that one. I
Decimated.
was just still not over how we both said the same word.
we're brothers, man. For all of you that didn't know. Fabregas lined up in a 4-2-3-1 formation. Boutez in goal, with a back line of Moreno, Kempf, Carlos, and Smolcic. And the double pivot, they had Dacunia and Perrone. Perrone's going on me. I like Perrone.
He's good.
Kakare on the left, Voivoda on the right, and Paz starting behind the experienced Alvaro Morata.
The X.
Of course, I fucking forgot that he was at Juve, man. Jesus, what a weirdo I am. Tudor tried to change something. He went for a 4 at the back formation. He went for a 4-3-3. He's been experimenting while everyone's been away. They get back. He's like, look, we're gonna go for a 4-3-3. I've got this nailed down. Di Gregorio on goal, backline of Kalulu, Rugani, Kelly, and Cambiaso. Midfield trio of Cope Miners, Locatelli, and Thuram. Conceição on the right. Yildiz on the left. And which one did they pick this week? Just blindfold real quick. Jonathan David up front. And to be fair to Juve, it was not easy at all for them because 4th minute, brilliant corner routine really from Como. Ball played by Nico Paz to Dacunia. Dacunia feints the cross, backheels it to Nico Paz, who whips in an in-swinging, curling cross that beat all of the defenders, all of the players, and met Kempf at the back post, who volleyed the ball into the back of the net. Amazing goal, and that is Kempf's 2nd goal of the season, as he has already scored against Fiorentina. In the 36th minute, Juve thought that they equalized via Jonathan David, but once again, David, poor guy, was ruled out for offside after a VAR review. Como, in my opinion, continued to school Juve throughout the game, really exposing gaps and really attacking those gaps. You know how Como are, attacking down the middle. A lot of number 10s in there, really able to play in the center of the pitch and hoard the center of the pitch where Juve have been struggling so much. Nico Paz takes the ball, dribbles forward. It was a good ball to him by Perrone, actually. Cuts inside. Cambiaso did try to keep him out wide, and I feel like Paz did a great job pretending like he was going to go onto the inside and try to cross the ball in, but in the last minute, cuts inside, shoots in the span of a second, curls it into the far corner. You'll be like, Matt, you're fucking literally jizzing over this goal. Why wasn't it your goal of the week? Yeah, because the goal before was whatever. Yeah. But that is Como's first win against Juve in 73 years. Their last win against Juve was in 1952.
Damn, of course. Before they were, before they had a sugar daddy.
Exactly. A tobacco daddy.
An Indonesian sugar daddy. Yeah.
An Indonesian sugar daddy.
Yes. Of course. Did we shout out Paz for potential goal of the week? Because he definitely deserves it.
Yeah, we gave him a shout out. Excellent goal.
Brilliant goal. I mean,
I'm tired speaking about him. He's world class.
He's so good. And he got the MVP award before this game as well.
So
I thought
young rising star was the award.
Yes. Very specific.
Yep.
I thought that Cambiaso was a little bit naive here though, man. You're letting him cut inside. What are you doing? What do you think he's gonna do?
Yeah, but take nothing away from Nico, there.
Of course,
but yeah, his body wasn't positioned well, Cambiaso.
Yeah,
his body was
not good
positioned
defending,
well.
Straight up, and Cambiaso hasn't been quite the same.
No, I feel like he's traumatized, Cambiaso. Cambiaso needs 6 months in Thailand. Even 3 would do, Cambiaso.
They would definitely help him. And
he needs to do salvia in a jungle.
And also, don't recommend, by the way. I've never done it, but from what I've heard, it's bad. Very bad, like it's fucked. So, Kalulu, I think, with Bremer out, is probably, arguably, let's say arguably, their best centre-back. And they're playing him out wide.
Rugani, Kelly, you're probably right.
Because there's Gatti, but Gatti wasn't 100%.
No, Gatti didn't
So I'm surprised why they insist on playing Kalulu as a fullback. Is that simply out of a lack of options on the bench? What happened to João Mario? Why are we seeing less and less of João Mario? Is it simply because of his performances?
I tend to just think that it's so that they can shift to a 3 at the back where Kalulu slots in as a right centre back, which Tudor tends to prefer that. But they even play him. I'm wrong, because they even play him right wing back when
Yeah.
they've got 3 centre
Exato.
backs available.
Esatto.
So, bit of a misprofile on Kalulu, I feel.
I mean, his crosses are always inaccurate. Always.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in fact, he managed 0 crosses this game. Your fullback, you know.
Yeah.
And not to mention as well, his I think he was the one marking in the first goal. He was the one on Kempf. I
Could be.
believe so, yeah.
Could be. I didn't see there were so many bodies in the box. It's hard to
not
tell.
a good showing. The only positive for Juve this game was that Coop Miners had a decent game.
We say this Coop Miners was a
He
little
wa-
bit better
Coop
this week, but
Miners
he's never good.
wasn't shit this
Exactly.
game.
He didn't suck complete ass, but off the ball, Juve sucked complete ass because the amount of space Como were afforded in the middle of the pitch is ridiculous, and Como deserved this win. They got a goal in nice and early, completely psychologically tormented Juve with that. They're like, fuck, now I have to score. They got a goal, it gets cancelled, and it was Jonathan David that got the goal. He really needs a goal. And then that gets cancelled, and then the second half, Como just in my opinion, demolished them, and then they got that goal, which was a cherry on top of the cake. And I'm going to say it because I don't think you heard me. I think Paz is world class.
Pauses, I mean,
Don't care.
I mean, he does it against the top teams often, you know.
It's
World class.
I understand I'm calling him world class prematurely.
I hate that term.
I know, but he is, man.
How can-
Because to me, world class, fuck what anyone else thinks world class is. That's really rude, but fuck what anyone else thinks world class is. World class, to me, is he has that special something, that special world class trait. And I think Paz has that. I think the amount of times Como
So
win
like an
1-0,
X factor.
he has the X factor. The amount of times Como win 2-0, Paz goal, Paz assist.
Yeah. No,
Just
he has the.
spectacular.
Yes. I do think again it's too early, but it could also be the fact that he has a system that works very well for him, a place where he feels very comfortable, a club where there isn't much pressure.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And he's the star man. I'm not going to say it's easy to look good, because it definitely isn't, and there's a lot of competition, but he is right now a big fish in a small pond. The question is, what happens when he goes to a bigger pond? Will he be able to carry the pressure when you walk out into the Bernabeu and there's that fan base that the second you make one mistake, they're groaning and they're looking at you weirdly. You make 2-3 mistakes, suddenly they start booing you when you have the ball.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Can you handle that? And then,
Firstly, I just want to correct you. He is not a small fish no, he's not a big fish in a small pond. He's a big fish in Lake Como, dog. He's in Lake Como and he's swimming, brother. And let me tell you, it is up to a club that is on the rise with a young progressive manager, with an owner that's like, look, in your very good hands. Legends all around, celebrities at the stadium. It is up to them to positively reinforce this young man to bring the best out of him. If any club doesn't manage to do that, it is on the club. I have seen top players go to the likes of Juve, go
Coop
to the
Miners.
likes of United.
Hoyland.
Sorry.
No, not Hoyland.
But when
everyone, yeah.
when there is a turbulent atmosphere on an unhealthy state, you've been a good employee in shit jobs before, in shit workplaces. It's not your fucking fault, you know what I mean?
No, but can you handle the heat, baby, is the
Yeah.
question. Yes. But I am of the opinion that he's a world-class talent. I will say that.
Fair.
And
That's fair.
I'm curious to see how he'll handle. I'm very optimistic about him.
On to
be
my
honest.
next sensationalist statement. It's
Can
a
I-
question, it's
Can
a
I?
question,
Actually, I can make this point after this question because I just saw it.
brother. Is Como's European dream alive? It's very early. Did you like what you've seen of them so far? Can they do it? They just beat Juve, man.
Yeah, I mean, dude, Como have a massive squad. They have no European commitments. Fabregas has said that the biggest challenge for him is to figure out who to play and how to utilize the players at their very best because he has such a deep squad. However, they have many advantages, man. They play once a week. They have many options, players to play. They've got an interesting approach that seems to be effective, particularly against bigger teams when the game is more open, you know. The question is, will they get found out? Because right now, as it kind of stands, Como play a high line, and you can find success playing in behind, I think. Long balls over the top. In fact, I think it was the Lazio game where we were surprised they didn't exploit it because Tati Castellanos had a point where we were just one-on-one.
Yeah.
It was almost like the Bonnie situation with Roma.
Yeah. First game of the season.
So they might get found out. However, yes, there are many advantages. I don't think they will get European football personally.
Okay.
Do you?
Yes, I think they will. I think in my prediction I had them in 8th or 7th. I think just missing out. I think they can do it. When you look at other teams that have started a bit slower, like of Fiorentina, who have to grind a lot, man, to get back up there.
But let's
of course,
say
Atalanta are in the same team they were. Atalanta have 5 draws. They're undefeated, but they've got 5 draws. Lazio, I'm sorry, I don't like Lazio this season at all. That was not the voice I wanted.
Wasn't what
At
you wanted.
all. Jesus Christ.
Oh my god.
At all.
No, I don't like them at all. So let's do this: Milan, Inter, Napoli, Roma, Bologna, Juve, Atalanta. Those are 7 teams that Como would have to displace one of them. Who are they displacing to get European football is the question. Are they going to displace Bologna? Because I don't think so.
They can displace Bologna.
I don't think
They
so.
can.
I
They
don't
can.
think so. They can, yes, but
They can. And
Do you think they will?
Atalanta. They can displace Atalanta.
Okay.
Surely. Atalanta have Champions League football.
yes.
Como can do it, in my opinion. They can. I think they will. Let me be a bit more bold
Okay,
here and say I think
'cause
that they
obviously can,
will. I think that they'll go for it, man. I think they have what it takes. And you said, will teams figure out Como? You better, because Como have figured out you. No, but that's actually fact. That was
True.
hard what I just said,
Yes,
because
yes.
Como really adapt
Yes.
to the teams in front of them.
In a league full of haram, Como bring a halal approach. You know what I mean? It's,
Yes,
it's
brother.
totally fun to watch. They play many 10s, but there's no bullshit. They're very direct. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They're just a breath of fresh air, man. And they play sexy football, man.
Yeah, Juve, Tudor. What you
Pressure.
Pressure's
I'm
on,
thinking
huh?
there's a lot of
Pressure's
pressure,
on.
yes.
Now, when the heat in the kitchen is 40 degrees, is it the head chef's fault? You know what I mean? No. But the head chef is responsible for getting the most and getting the most out of his employees in 40-degree temperature.
Yes.
Now, who created the 40-degree temperature? The ownership of Juve. It's
Yes.
been a very turbulent environment, multiple investigations, a divided fan base.
Breaking news. Juve face another UEFA punishment with investigation into alleged financial irregularities open.
How can you perform? How can you perform where there's all this noise
Yes,
consistently?
Juve are
around the
under
club?
investigation after financial irregularities between 2022 and 2025. So this probe could lead to new fines or squad registration limits. As it stands, growing concerns over the club's financial stability after just a year after their European ban. So we will keep an eye out on that and keep you updated because, of course, this is just an investigation as it stands.
Exactly. So there's that. Plus the fact that Juve wanted to move from the Allegri era and they wanted to enter the Thiago Motta era and they wanted a long-term project, albeit they weren't too patient with that, right? So they hired Giuntoli, they hired Motta. These guys fought. Giuntoli fired Motta and then Elkan fired Giuntoli. And now they've got a new sporting director on board and their caretaker manager is still there. And you know what? Turns out the caretaker manager who was employed as a caretaker manager is not fitting the exact bill of what is expected by Elkan. Now, Elkan.
What is
all
expected of by Elkan or by the Juve fan base?
No, I would say Elkan too. I think both, but Elkan expects top 4, and that's why he sacked Motta, where he was like, yo, this is getting a bit too close to comfort. Now, let's bring in Tudor in the last few games to at least get that new manager motivation and spike, and Tudor is the right man for that job, right? Now it's a full season. Tudor has a really tough job to do. I feel like there was a lot of hype about Juve and their mercato, etc., etc. I didn't see anything spectacular in their mercato. I thought Zegrova, sorry, who's Zegrova? Honestly, like you're gonna get hyped about Zegrova. Who is he?
He might burst into life, bro.
They spent so much time trying to get Colomwani as a striker, and then they're like, let's just try our best to get our second and third best option. So they bring in Jonathan David and they bring in Openda, and they also have Vlahovic. And it's like, who's going to start over there? Meanwhile, the midfield, right? Where they've got Locatelli, they've got Cope Miners, they've got Kefren Turam. That sounds amazing, right?
Yeah.
No, they don't play well together in the slightest. Completely turbulent situation. They're struggling to create chances. They're struggling to defend. It's shit right now
It's limp.
for Juve.
That's what it is. It's limp. And their striker situation means that it's going to be difficult for one of them to actually get a run of games and to build confidence. It's a weird situation with your biggest signings simply not performing, and it seems to be a consistent theme. It's year after year after year. It's the old guard who always performs for you. They're always carried by the likes of Thuram or Yildiz or something like that.
Yeah, to be fair, Locatelli,
And Locatelli as well.
because he's the
The heart and soul of the
Exactly.
team, funnily enough. With Juve, I think it's a bit of a weird one. You'd think after the international break they got their well-needed rest, they regrouped and got everything together, but this is a bit of a disaster. I mean, it was uninspiring. That's the problem. They got played out of the park, man.
Yep,
You know,
by Como.
by Como. Yeah.
And Como, by the way, just one loss this season, and that was second game of the season away to Bologna in
Yeah.
that stadium. So Como good, Juve bad. On to the next.
On to the
We could have
next.
just said that the entire time, no?
That's
for,
true.
for 2 games
Pretty
so far,
much.
we could have just done that.
So, Torino 1, Napoli 0. A player on loan from Napoli scores for Torino against a goalkeeper who's on loan from... Wait, I fucked that up. I should have written it
Try
down.
again, brother. Go for it.
Let's try that again. Torino 1, Napoli 0. A game which saw... Wait, I did write it down. Simeone, who is on loan from Napoli, scoring against goalkeeper Milinkovic-Savic, who ironically is on loan from Torino. Yes.
It landed, you see. I
It
laughed.
landed. There we go. So this woohoo! If you can guess who we are, comment below and you'll win a prize. Israel was in goal for Torino in a 5-3-2 formation with Pedersen and Nkuku out wide. Tameze, Maripan and Koko at the back, with Cassidy, Aslani and Vlasic in midfield, as Simeone partnered Adams up front. A very
Just-
interesting setup by Baroni over here. Very interesting.
Maripan. Your name always reminded me of something, and now I know what it is, because I rewatched some of the Great British Bake Off. Marzipan is something in a cake.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
That's what I'm gonna call you.
I
from
liked
now on.
Vlasic.
Maripan.
Playing a little bit deeper with Adams and Simeone up front, like that.
Mhm.
While Napoli, who are in a bit of a crisis themselves when it comes to injuries, lined up with Milinkovic-Savic in goal, with Di Lorenzo and Oliveira as the fullbacks, Juan Jesus and Beukem at the back, Gilmore operating in front of the defence with Spinazzola and Neres out wide, while De Bruyne and Anguissa played behind Lorenzo, Lucca, of course, McTominay is out. Now,
Later.
Napoli struggled to find their attacking rhythm. They dominated possession. They had 68.7%. They created 22 shots, but they were unable to convert their chances. There was a potential equalizer by Noah Lang in stoppage time that was ruled out for offside after a VAR review. Politano had hit the post,
Yeah.
and it bounced off of Israel and into the path of Lang, who spanked it in. And you look at they seemed content with that. Conte was going crazy. Lang had his shirt off. You know, it was scenes. They were happy with the draw. But, of course, it was ruled out. So that leaves Simeone's goal in the 32nd minute as the only one. How did that goal come about? It was actually Gilmore who attempted a tackle and inadvertently played the ball into the path of Simeone, who maintained his cool, didn't try to shoot prematurely, didn't try any fancy dribbles. He just held the ball, and everything around him seemed to just fall apart.
Yeah.
You know, a defender, Di Lorenzo, I believe, was slid past him. Vanya hit the ground and extended, and it allowed him essentially to just get round everyone and tap the ball into the back of the net. Very Ronaldo El Fenomeno-esque, or if you're a man of culture, very Luis Muriel-esque, because that's what that reminded me of. Yes, so this was a very nice counter-attacking game by Torino. They capitalized on a defensive mistake. They were quick, they were adaptable, they attacked with a lot of intent when they did, while Napoli kept a lot of possession without penetration.
Yeah.
And that's not what you want, right?
Just foreplay.
Just foreplay. No, not enough. Despite controlling the possession, they struggled to break down Torino's defense, and they often skied their attempts. Many shots went over. They really felt the absences of McTominay and Højlund as well, who was also out for this game.
For sure.
Lucca acted as a pivot up front, but was often isolated, making crosses as the primary offensive strategy, with only 3 successful crosses. You know, I'm seeing people criticizing Lucca, but 34 attempted crosses and 3 successful. That's not exactly Lucca's fault, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Granted, he's not exactly fit to play this way. I think that maybe for this game a change in system needed to be done or made.
I think so. I mean, credit to Torino, because they made Napoli's life very difficult. You see them set up with that 5 at the back. And they defended resiliently. It's no wonder Napoli had 68% possession. It's because Torino had no problem with Napoli having the ball. Because the way that Torino were setting up, and we've seen them frustrate teams in this way. We've also seen them concede 5. But we've seen them frustrate teams in this way. They frustrated Roma in the same way. They're like, look, one chance is all it takes. And Simeone
Falling in love with me.
Simeone got the only goal in their 1-0 victory against Roma. And that was a moment of magic. This was a self-inflicted conceded goal, really, by Napoli, by Gilmour making that mistake, so to say. I think, of course, Napoli are also slightly decimated. Their 2 main tools being McTominay and Lukaku or Højlund were out, and I think those 2 combinations really complement each other.
Stanislav as well, no?
Stanislav as well, of course. De Bruyne had to be everywhere. I thought De Bruyne looked quite good
he was
for
lively.
the most part of it. But you have to get the ball to the big man, and I think he did miscontrol a few passes and looked a little bit sloppy. I still wouldn't say that the 35 million price tag for him wasn't a good investment. Whatever, he's an Italian 6'6" striker that knows the league and has a knack for scoring goals and is great with the ball at his feet. You need to give him some time. This is a big jump for him from Udinese to Napoli, but you need to get the ball into the box for him. I think playing Spinazzola left wing, although he was one of the more lively players, isn't exactly ideal, right? With the players that they had on the pitch, this for me screams a 3 at the back formation, even if you play maybe Neres up top or Lang up top to support Lucca, but I don't think this was the way to set up for a game like this.
I think you have to play people closer to Lucca, to be honest with you.
Absolutely.
I think you've got so many talented players. You've got the likes of De Bruyne, for example, who can play off the shoulder of Lucca, or Neres, you play him in a little bit tighter. I think it would have been the way to go, to be honest. Well, what the fuck do I know? I think that Simeone did a very good job, and he really demonstrated that he could have still been a useful option for them up front, because even not apart from the goal, at one point he set Pedersen completely free, playing a lovely dinked ball to him, and Vanya had to come out and slap it away.
Pedersen was unlucky.
Yeah. So yes, here is the fun fact of the day, bro. Did you know that Marco Baroni is a former Napoli player?
Okay, I didn't know that.
Not only is he a former Napoli player, he's a Napoli hero. Because in the 1990-91 season, he scored the decisive goal in April 29th, 1990 against Lazio that won them the Scudetto.
Holy
Baroni.
fuck,
And he was a centre
Baroni,
back.
not
Baroni.
Maradona.
Yeah, but the assist was Maradona.
Oh my god.
So Maradona set up Baroni.
I didn't know he had that lure, man.
Hey, I was very surprised
Baroni.
when I heard.
Congrats, well done, man.
Congrats, Baroni. That's cool.
That's huge. Look at you, huh?
suddenly your very embarrassing games against Inter don't matter that much.
Exactly.
Yeah. Simeone's celebration
well
was
done. Thank
an
you,
interesting one. Thank you, Nick, because I've never seen someone so upset to score.
Yeah, and what made me chuckle, firstly, great, like, respect. That is, in my eyes, every footballer should be like that, right? That shows so much respect. But the fact that he was genuinely pissed off after he tried so hard to score that goal. He was completely locked in, showed every piece of skill set that he's picked up from age 3 when he first kicked a football, came out in that moment for him to craft that move and to score against Napoli. And after doing all of that, he gets pissed off because he scored.
Yeah.
I've never seen that in a game,
That's
man, where he
hilarious.
genuinely... He wasn't like gassed but put his hands up in embarrassment or whatever. He was pissed off with himself for scoring against Napoli.
It was so corporate. It's something that it's some work he didn't want to do. That's what's funny.
Exactly.
Like when you're at work and you have to send an email and you really don't want to send it, for example, and you send it and you're like, fuck
Exactly.
that. You know what I mean? It was
Exactly.
exactly like that. He scored a great goal and then went, fuck this shit. I hate this.
Nick, when we close a package with a brand we don't love, we can make a list of that. But great point for Torino and Napoli. A huge setback for them because now, okay, that's not 2 losses in a row, but they now have 2 losses, man. They're no better than Inter.
I think something might need to change when it comes to. I like this system, but with the players unavailable, I don't think it could have been replicated. I don't think this is the way to go every single game. I think sometimes maybe just play a little simpler, man. A 4-3-3 would have sufficed here. You know what I mean? Or a 3-4-2-1 would have been all right too. Just 2 behind Lucca. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, that was the main problem in my opinion. Why wasn't Neres closer to goal? Probably because that area was super crowded with Torino bodies, and Torino have become this really physical side
They
to
really
play
are,
against, similar to Udinese in that way. But a well executed game plan from Baroni, which was haram ball, catch them on the break. 1 moment is all you need. Falling in love with Cholito.
Exactly, haram ball, but both teams had an XG of 2, with 3 big chances for
Torino
Torino.
had an XG of
They
2.
had 3 big chances and 12 shots, bro. They forced, granted, Vanya only into 1 save, but yeah, they were quite wasteful.
Christ, man, Christ.
Yeah, this was an interesting game. I think Napoli need to do a little bit better. They need to move the ball around with more purpose, maybe as well.
Absolutely.
I'm curious to know what Tyler thinks, or Tyson, not Tyler.
Yeah.
Tyler as well. I want to know what you think as well, bro. I want to know what everyone thinks.
You know what? If you need to talk anyone, just like we're here.
Yeah, that's up, man.
You don't need to DM us about football. It's
القول قول
message them about
الصوارم كي تسترد المظالم حتى الأراضي ساموا رسول أهل العزائم القول.
I'm
Atalanta
really
and,
hoping that's not an ISIS chant.
I'm hoping as well. You know what? It is what you make it, guys. Shall we jump to the next game? That was almost a perfect segue.
And I
into that.
ruined it. Go on.
Atalanta 0, Lazio 0. I looked at this game and I'm like, these are 2 teams that are touted to flop this season, right? Lazio with their transfer ban, Atalanta losing Retegui and Gasperini, with Lookman having an attitude. Like, this is going to be an interesting game. They're going to go all out for each other, and it wasn't haram ball, this game in particular. But I'll start off this way. So Atalanta came into this match and leave it as well undefeated. However, that is 5 draws in 7 games. Lazio have had inconsistent results, 2 wins, 2 draws and 3 losses before this fixture. Atalanta missed Scamacca, Kossunu, Bellanova, Bakker and Kolasinac. However, Zalewski did return but was only fit enough for the bench. Lazio missed Pellegrino, Delabashiru, Rovella, Tati, Gigo and Cancelleri went off injured immediately into this game. So Atalanta lined up in a 3-4-2-1 formation with Carnesecchi in goal, a backline of Honest Ahanor, Hien and Jim City. Brescianoni on the left and Zappa Costa on the right, double pivot of Pasalic and Ederson, with Suleiman and De Ketelare playing behind Lookman as a sole striker. 4-3-3 for Sarri's men, Provedel in goal, backline of Marsic, Hila, Romagnoli and Nuno Tavares. Midfield trio of Guendouzi, Cataldi and Basic. Cancelleri on the right, Zaccagni on the left and Boulaye Dia up front. The game ended goalless, but Atalanta hit the post twice and saw some great saves by Provedel and a standout performance by Mario Hila, who reminded me of a UFC fighter in this match, man. It's just like making brilliant tackles, being aggressive and just taunting everyone around him.
You know who he reminded me of? Nesta, man. I swear to God, I was watching him do these crazy slight tackles where he's landing on the ball, you know, but he's winning it and they're clean. And then after he'll get up, I don't know what the hell his beef is with the Atalanta crowd. I don't know what happened,
They're
but
probably giving him a hard time.
yeah, he had his tongue out, man. It was mental. He was taunting them. He had a great game. He even got man of the match. He was super, man.
Oh, fantastic player, and I mean it was down to him and Provedel as well. I criticize Provedel often, but let's call a spade a spade. He had a great game over here. However, this was Atalanta's game to drop points, and essentially they'll be hugely disappointed. They had a big opportunity here to get a big 3 points, but they leave with 1. They created multiple chances at home to a decimated Lazio side. They had an XG of 2.18 to Lazio 0.25. This would not have happened if Retegui was still there, of course. But so striker of Lookman, who's still finding full match fitness after he spent the summer everywhere else but Bergamo. Scamacca's injured, Retegui's gone, Krstovic was benched because Lookman is a superstar, really. But they missed so many chances, man.
They were
missed
so
fucking
wasteful.
many chances.
Provedel had the game of his life, absolutely, but they were very wasteful.
Yeah.
They should have definitely scored. And at the end of the game, the comedy of errors, that is Daniel Maldini.
Oh man.
He can't get anything right nowadays. I'm curious to see his stats, actually. Let's pull them up, because
he needs a loan, man.
he looked awful. Okay, so look at this. Crosses, 1 attempted, 0 successful. Pass accuracy, 2 out of 5, 40%. And that's being generous, other rounding up there. Passes in opposition half, that's 2 out of 6 completed. And then long balls, he had 1 out of 1. Dribbles, he attempted 1 and he failed it. He lost possession 5 times. You know, it's not exactly good. He had the opportunity to tackle someone. He came in a duel defensively once and he lost it as well. He was a non-factor when he came on.
Yeah.
And you think you bring him on in the 83rd minute, maybe he'll score, maybe he'll bring you a spark, and all he's doing is fucking up.
Yeah, and Maldini has that in his locker, unfortunately.
Because he's young, I mean, he hasn't been doing
he's
it
not
for
even
very long.
that young.
As in, he's young in the means of young when it comes to experience.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm sure that if you take someone like, alright, granted, I mean, Nico Paz is a mercurial talent. Fuck. But if you had to take him and move him around to the extent that Daniel Maldini has moved around in his career, it would have definitely affected him.
Yeah, of course.
He wouldn't have become the man at Como. You know, he should have stayed at Monza, Daniel Maldini, is my point. You know, and play in Serie B. Build yourself up, become the main man.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
But Gasperini comes calling, right? And the way that he develops players and gets the best out of them. His problem is Gasperini left so soon that he's suddenly coming on for Juric late on. And
he looks so much worse than like Sulemana, who looks really good. Lookman, of course. I mean,
yeah. I would have preferred to see Atalanta here rather than Lookman as a sole striker, to play either Lookman alongside Sulemana or Lookman alongside De Ketelare up front. The way that Gasperini used to line up sometimes when he'd randomly bench Retegui against Inter, you know?
Yeah.
I think that would have been something, but he probably wanted to fit Sulemana in some way or another. On that left-hand side, I quite enjoyed, and I think I got his name wrong earlier, Bernasconi,
man.
Bernasconi. Really good. Huh?
What a player. Honestly,
Really good.
he shows good potential. This guy, he's got some size to him as well. Big guy.
I think he's only like 21 years old.
Yeah, 21. Nailed it as usual. Because Matthew's got the superpower that he can just... he knows everyone's age.
Players, not friends.
Players, not friends, yeah.
What
about players who are friends? Remember that Bernasconi was at Cremonese last season.
He's a Cremonese youth product as well. Well, he was at Cremonese from I think under 16s if I'm not mistaken.
But he did spend. I think Atalanta bought him young, to be honest, because he played under 20s football with Atalanta as well, something like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, Bernasconi looks good as well. He looks tireless too, and I'm always as well impressed by Zappa Costa, who's so lively as well.
Yeah, he's another one of those ancient fossils.
But he's not
still
as
doing
old
the
as he
job.
looks. I think he's 33.
That I probably wouldn't have gotten right. I would have said 35. Like, how has he looked 35 for the past 5 years, but he's 33? You're stressed, Davide. Salvia and the jungle.
You remember that goal he scored for Chelsea?
Of course.
The screamer.
It was like Florenzi's
goal,
against
yeah.
Barca
What a
from the
goal.
wing where they chipped
Mental.
it.
He's got such a shot on him.
Amazing
But yes,
stuff.
back to this game. So I don't know if you have a structure you want
Go
to
for
follow,
it,
but I
go for
want
it,
to
go
talk
for
about Lazio, man, because
Mm.
who would have thought that Cataldi, Bazic, and Cancellieri, especially Cancellieri and Bazic, would become key players for Lazio?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, when you have a transfer ban,
yes,
that's when you discover a lot of the talent that you actually have around you. And Cancellieri is pretty much like a
a new
signing for
It's
them,
true.
as David said.
Yeah, they had to change the system when he got injured because he's so important to them. And Bazic, by the way, was phased out of football for 2 years. I remember him playing football with Salernitana when they were trying to survive when they got relegated to Serie B.
Basic was
Bazic was there. He was on loan with that Salernitana team. Then he went back to Lazio, and Lazio didn't want him, so they phased him out for a while. So it's been kind of like 2 years since he played at this level. He comes back and he's in tip-top condition. He looks better than Belayan. He looks better than Delabashiru. He slots into this team, and I think he's their best midfielder at the moment.
Oh wow! Well,
Basic.
Ravella's out injured.
He
well,
is,
right?
yes, but he's doing a great job, man. I think. I
Yeah.
think respect to him for staying in top condition
yeah.
when everything is against you.
Mhm.
The club is desperately trying to sell you, and I think Sarri's come out and said that he's one of their most important midfielders.
No,
So-
and it's true. I mean, he's having consistently very good performances, and he's everywhere, man. He's really important to them. A point on Lazio, I don't feel like they have a star man, and that star man should be Zaccagni. And I'm
yeah.
not going after Zaccagni, but Zaccagni is there for the past few seasons, the past 3 seasons. He's been their guy. Play the ball to Zaccagni, no matter what, and he's gonna create a goal out of nothing. Now he never had tremendous numbers, but he was the guy that created problems for the opposition, and I'm not seeing it from him this season, man. And another person I'm not seeing it from is the guy that plays behind him in Nuno Tavares. There's something about the Sarri system, man, that isn't getting the best out of these guys.
You see Nuno Tavares tucking into midfield. I'm not so sure if that's the way to go. And Zaccagni having to do a whole lot of defending and defensive duty. I mean, you have no one committed to solely attacking, which is always useful to have someone whose job is simply to create chances. I feel like Zaccagni, every time I'm watching them, is hustling or tracking back or chasing a defender, attempting a tackle. So yes. I mean, with Lazio, it's a little bit difficult to judge where they stand simply because of their situation, right? And Isaacson came on, for example, and you can see why he hasn't been playing, for example, because he is very unfit. He's not. His condition isn't right as it stands.
Yeah.
But
He doesn't have his players, He doesn't have
and
his
even
players.
the best players are out. Castellanos, Rovella, now Cancellieri's out. Isaacson isn't at his best. There are many gaps. There are many stops. They've been unlucky.
Yeah.
Lazio, very unlucky.
I think they'll take this point.
Sure,
Yes, they were
yes.
played out of the park, but 2 good signs, Provedel and
Gila.
Gila,
Yeah.
and they get away with a point against an undefeated team. I doubt they were expecting to hand Atalanta their first loss of the season.
Exactly. Yes.
Over to you, dog.
We can move on to Cagliari 0, Bologna 2.
How far in are we, dog?
About 1 hour 30.
Sick.
Fantastic.
So yes, Bologna secured their first away victory of the season with a 2-0 victory over Cagliari, thanks to a goal from... Actually, let's save the goals. Let's do the lineups. So it was Caprile in goal for Cagliari in their 4-5-1 formation this time. Keep in mind that Bellotti is out for the rest of the season already.
Madonna.
Crazy, terrible. Zappa Mina, Luperto and Obert were at the back for Cagliari, with Palestra and Felici playing out wide. Adopo, Prati and Folorunsho playing in the midfield 3, and Esposito playing up front. This is the techie Esposito, not the bomber Esposito or the regista Esposito.
Exactly.
Yes. Palestra means gym, by the way, in Italian.
Yes, it does. It does.
So they made a really cool video when he signed of him at the gym, and he's going, "No, ragazzi, no." Really embarrassed because he knows it's cringe. But I love that. 4-2.
Wait till you find out what Felici means, bro. Happy.
If an American is pronouncing it though.
Felici.
Shout out to our American listeners. 4-2-3-1 for Bologna with Ravaglia in goal. This often happens. Ravaglia is good enough to randomly step in for Skorupski. I like that. Miranda and Holm were playing as the fullbacks. Holm having just had a tooth removed to stop his muscle problems. Check out our previous episode if you have no idea what I'm talking about. And Vitek were playing at the back with Ferguson and Freuler as the double pivot. Cambiaghi and Bernardeschi playing on the wings with Odgaard playing behind Castro. So the match was decided by goals from Holm and Orsolini, although it was Felici who scored in the opening minutes, but it was ruled out for offside. It wasn't Felici himself who was in an offside position, but Adopo, who was blocking defender from tracking back. I believe he was blocking Ferguson actually from tracking back. It was really interesting because Felici ran from an onside position, but because the defender was obstructed by a player in an offside position, he cancelled the goal. It felt harsh, but that's a good call, man.
It is
that's a good call.
Yeah, interference.
Holm opened the scoring in the 31st minute, converting Odgaard's knockdown from a corner. It was Bernardeschi's long-range attempt that won them the corner. Lovely shot by Bernardeschi. It was looping, caused the goalkeeper a lot of problems. Sometimes Bernardeschi's level does show that he's actually a player who has played for Juve, you know. Orsolini doubled the lead in the 80th minute, coming off the bench, finishing off a counter-attack that was initiated by Holm in spectacular fashion. He did his trademark goal. Knock knock.
Who's there?
Orsolini.
Orsolini who?
Orsolini, call me up. Isn't that what it's always said?
Gattuso called me up.
Oh, did I say
Orsolini called me up?
Fucking hell, that's a fuck up, dude.
Well, let's start from the beginning, man.
That's
Hello and welcome back.
Hello and welcome back to another episode.
Assalamu alaikum, marhaba.
My God, haram jokes are these. Cagliari, they missed, of course, a reference point up front. They brought on Borelli to try to fix things, but they struggled to create clear-cut chances, and when they did create these clear-cut chances was because they were unleashing Felici. The first one that they did was ruled out for offside, but then they did release him again, and this time he failed to beat the keeper. I think he had another touch in him in that situation, but he pulled the trigger a little bit too early. Great save by Ravaglia, though.
Yes, sir. I mean, this is the classic case, right? Cagliari they come out
strong.
They come out like they're ready to go to war.
Yeah.
The fans are so close to the stadium. The fans are so passionate. I've heard people talk shit about Cagliari Stadium. I believe Leah told me he's not a fan of the Cagliari Stadium. I think the atmosphere is absolutely electric,
agreed.
and it's always packed. The curva's amazing, and the players go out there. You see them, and we witness that atmosphere, man. They're crazy, they're rabid, and they started the game off brilliantly, found a goal quickly. They were using Felici really well.
They did
throughout the game.
They did
I think
Felici
is a tool they can use more because the pace that he has is ridiculous. He is so quick, bro. This guy so quick. They're using him really well. Goal went to offside, and then you just see Bologna relieved. They're like, okay, we need to wake the fuck up, like, and that's exactly what they did. They used their experience. They got back into the game. I thought Bernardeschi had a good game stepping in for Orsolini, and then Orsolini comes in and he's Mr. Reliable. We had Bologna fan Luca. I love Luca. Every time I hear his voice,
Hey guys,
so
happy,
he makes me smile when he speaks. He said Orsolini is the most consistent player in Serie A in at least the past 5 years, and I don't disagree with him, man. I don't disagree with him.
Good point, huh? Yes. I can't think of anyone offensively who's been as consistent.
Active,
They've all,
right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
there
yeah.
was
Of course, of
Ciro
course,
and
of
the
course, of
likes before.
Yes. Speaking of Orsolini, Cagliari have become his favourite opponent now alongside Lecce and Empoli, as he scored 6 goals against each of those teams.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
wow.
it's 6-6-6, Cagliari, Lecce, Empoli.
I believe he's the capocannoniere at the moment.
Orsolini?
Orsolini
That
is
would
the
make
top
sense.
scorer
I don't
in the
think I've
league
seen
right
anyone
now, man.
celebrate on my television more than Orsolini this season.
Always knocking on our
He's
screen.
always knocking and fucking up the cameras.
Sure, there's an easier way to do that. Serie A top scorers.
Yeah, what-
I'm confident that it's him right now. It is in fact Orsolini. Orsolini has 5 goals in 7 games.
5 goals
Second,
in 7.
Nico
Very good.
Paz and Pulisic. And they've got Boni on 3, Soler, Thuram,
Surely
Lautaro,
Boni's on 4 now.
Cancelleri.
Because he scored
No.
a hat-trick and... did he score a hat-trick, Boni?
No, but he got 3 assists in
3
a
assists,
game.
yes, exactly, sorry. Yes,
Yeah.
and he scored in the opening game as well, I think it was.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cancelleri, Simeone and De Bruyne on 3.
All right, very good. But yes, Bologna put in an impressive performance. This isn't an easy place to go and play, especially when you concede early like that. It's a bit of a shock from the get-go. You know, the fans are intimidating. The stadium's electric, as we said. So I think they got a goal nice and early-ish in the first half, so they didn't have to put a lot of pressure in the second half. They saved Orsolini, brought him on. He did what he had to do. Perfect performance, in my opinion, from Bologna.
Absolutely, and Bologna have barely put a foot wrong this
Yeah.
season, right? I mean, they beat Como. They only lost against Milan, but they made quick work of Well, they didn't make quick work of Genoa. It was a really hard-fought 2-1 win with a last-minute goal. But they beat Genoa. They drew to Lecce away in what was a bit of a complicated game, with the last-minute goal by Camarda, I believe. Then they beat Pisa 4-0. Now they beat Cagliari 2-0. They're scoring and they're not conceding. Next up is Fiorentina away. So Italiano
game.
facing his
Derby.
Yeah, of course. It's a derby of Tuscany, right? Is it Tuscany? Dell'Appennini.
Yeah,
Dell'Appennini.
that's the one.
Yeah, the Apennine Mountains.
Do you know, or did you know rather, that no player has suffered more fouls than Cambiaghi in Serie A this season?
I'm not surprised.
Yeah,
I'm
he's
actually not surprised, even that he hasn't started every game.
Yeah,
I'm not surprised. Every time I see him, he's on the ground.
yeah.
Poor guy. Really quick, really technical. He's really finding himself.
He has a lot of flair. That's the term,
And
I think.
he has competition to fight off, because there's Benji Dominguez and there's former Marseille dude, Rowe,
Yes, Rowe.
who he needs to fend off. And there's, of course, Bernardeschi
Yeah.
as well, who can play that role, as Orsolini typically takes the right hand side. So he has a lot of competition to fend off, but he's in a good spot. He got called up for the Italian national team. He's starting to get some numbers to him.
Yeah, very good. I thought Odegaard played very well as well, but of course the guy who takes home the Man of the Match award is the man who has just been to the dentist, Emil Holm. Hopefully he can keep it up, because it seems that the second he finds his groove, he's out injured. But
Yeah.
we'll see if this works.
If this is the solution, man, great.
Yeah.
Because we've been on the home train. We used to call him the train. We've been on that shit early days.
Yeah.
He's
I've been taking him on Fanta Calcio and regretting it for way too long now. But yes, that is that.
Next up, Cremonese 1, Udinese 1.
Monday Night Madness.
Yes, sir. Just 1 point separated these teams before and after the game. Cremonese missed Colo-Colo, Mumbagna and Audero as Vardy made his first start. Udinese missed Christensen and Nunziante.
Not Mumbagna and Nunziante.
Cremonese now have 2 wins, 4 draws and 1 loss, while Udinese have 2 wins, 3 draws and 2 losses. Cremonese lined up in a 3-5-2 formation, Silvestri in goal, backline of Bianchetti, Baschirotto and Terracciano, Pezzella on the left, Zerbin on the right, and the midfield three of Van de Putte, Bondo and Paiero, with Vardy and Bonazzoli starting up front together. On the other hand, Runjaic also started in a 3-5-2 formation with Okoye in goal. Welcome back, Okoye. No yellow cards for you today. Crazy, bro. For those of you that don't know. He was suspended for quite a lengthy time for all the season so far. because of match fixing claims and betting. So
He has
so
to play a bit better because it looked suspicious
Yeah,
again at this game.
again,
He looked
again.
shit, bro.
He
He
got-
was. He looked. The first half was a mess. At least he settled into it a little bit, but he
Yeah.
was coming out and completely missing the ball.
Yeah.
Nowhere to be seen. No man's land.
He was
spilling
always a bit
everything.
crazy, Okoye.
Yes, but he
You
was.
remember that goal where there were like 4 shots, they were all blocked, and he was fully committing to the dive every single time. So there's a shot that's blocked, and
he's midair.
flying midair, and then another shot into a potentially open net, and he goes flying again. Another shot is blocked. He's a bit of
Hilarious.
he's a. Not a traditional goalkeeper. There's the other one, an acrobatic
Yeah.
goalkeeper. He's an entertainer. But yes, he was previously suspended for purposefully getting yellow cards in games. He was in goal. Backline of Goglio, Cizze, Cabasele and Sole. Sole will get into what he has going on another time. Zanoli on the right, Camaro on the left, and the midfield three of Ekelenkamp, Karlstrom and Atta, with Zaniolo and Bayo up front.
Zaniolo, one of the players in Serie A who has a porno online
He has a porno online and he beats children and
and pisses
Drinks
on
and-
facility.
exactly.
These are
He's-
cool
he
Udinese team.
scored here. I'm surprised he didn't do jump into the stands, punch a child in the face and piss on his father.
Yeah.
But
Zaniolo has a porno.
Zaniolo has a porno.
I'm gonna have fun today.
Nick watching Zaniolo's porn tonight.
That's a hilarious
It's crazy.
concept.
I'll
Yes.
send it to you. I saw what you sent me. I'm gonna reply to you and send you that. Okay.
I'm joking for uni reasons.
Yeah, don't worry.
What
it's
uni?
fine. And so what? You're telling me it affects your uni if you are doing that?
Who knows?
It shouldn't.
Mm.
It's
Porn, huh? Porn. That's a whole other topic. But
there's
that's for another podcast.
There's a
I
joke
guess.
about Okoye, Sole, and Zaniolo, but we'll make it another time.
Yes.
I'll cook something.
This
Hopefully, it's better than my incredible Orsolini knock joke.
Who's there? Orsolini, call me up. Hi, I'm Orsolini. Call me up. But, yeah. What would Butthead say? What are you, Beavis, a stand-up chameleon? Anyway,
Oh my
if
God.
anyone here likes Beavis and Butthead, come chill with us. We can watch Beavis and Butthead. Talking
yes.
points. Vardy started his first game, and you know what? He was there.
It was lively.
He was there. He was lively at 36. You know.
36 is it? Let's see if you nailed it.
Back to
38, bro.
Oh
you're
my
off.
God, I'm
Oh,
off.
you're
I'm
off,
off.
you're off,
I'm
you're
off. I'm off.
38.
Ciao,
He's
guys.
old, bro, but he was moving well.
He was
and he
moving
played the
well.
whole game.
You know why? Eh? He chugs like 17 Red Bulls before the game.
Yeah.
Honestly, because they're like, well, you have a lot of energy in the games. What do you do? It's like, I drink so much fucking Red Bull before the games. Man. It's like top. It works. It works for him. How funny that would be something he picked up when playing non-league football, and he just kept the
Kept
tradition.
it up,
it
and
fucking
no
worked
club
for him.
doctor at Leicester ever told him, listen, bro, you might
Uh-huh.
want to take care of the old
Your
ticker.
heart,
Your
bro.
heart.
This is going crazy.
Listen, you're scoring and slight tackling into corner flags, snapping them in half, and your pupils are fucking dilated, and you've got like bags and they're red, like, bro, shit.
Exactly. But yes, he was there. He was active, and I think he added. Did I go through the goals, man?
No.
I didn't.
No,
I'm
we've
so
just been
sorry,
having
guys.
fun,
I'm
man.
so sorry. So Cremonese opened the scoring in the 4th minute, nice and early, right? Van de Putte put in a free kick from the left. Terracciano rose highest and he headed home. It did go straight above Okoye. Okoye kind of like put 2 hands and push the ball up only into the roof of the net. But that is the 2nd goal of the season for the Milan loanee.
If you watch the replay, you see Okoye picking up his phone and cashing out after doing that.
On the half-hour mark, Bonazzoli hit the post. Cremonese almost made it 2. Van de Putte won the ball, drove forward, crossed low. Bonazzoli smashed his shot onto the crossbar. You guys are seeing a bit of a theme over here. This Van de Putte guy is insane. We knew, if you watch our Serie B episode where we go through the newly promoted teams, we mentioned Van de Putte a lot. We're just learning about him, actually.
Yeah.
But good to see he's doing it in Serie A as well. 50th minute.
He's also got a very good burst of pace over a short distance. He's
Yes,
very
bro.
fast, and then he
Yes.
whips in a dirty
Absolutely.
cross.
How old is Van de Putte?
Van de Putte isn't the youngest person in the world. He's 29.
Considering the youngest person in the world was born just now.
Up another one.
Oh, shit. But Udinese scored right after half time. It was Zaniolo. He started the move, bless him. He played the ball to Zanoli, who crossed from the right, and Zaniolo, he ghosted into the back post. No one picked him up, and he headed home. Silvestri got a good hand to it, but couldn't stop the header. In the 78th minute, Vardy won a free kick. And Vasquez stepped up, 38-year-old Vasquez, and he curled it around the wall and it hit the outside of the post. So close again for Cremonese. And then the 91st minute, Vardy had a chance to win it. He cut inside smartly, but his shot deflected off of Cabasele and behind for a corner. So yes, I thought Cremonese did enough to win this game, but clearly not, because they didn't manage to put the ball into the back of the net. I thought they were unlucky. I don't think they're a team that struggle to score goals. I think even though you have Bonazzoli, Vardy and Vasquez, who are all essentially aging strikers, they all bring this energy and they all have such a unique skill set. To see 38-year-old Vasquez, who's already scored this season, curl that ball around the wall so well in that scenario.
Yeah.
Then they have Vardy with all of his energy, and then they're so good at set pieces as well. You see Terracciano scoring another header from another dead ball situation, and then they also have Baschirotto that can also do that.
Yeah.
Cremonese have it figured out, man. I think they could have won this game.
I think so too. They were very unlucky. In reality, I don't think let me confirm that. I don't think the goalkeeper of Cremonese actually made a single save.
Silvestri.
No, zero, nothing. They didn't have a single shot.
He almost made one
that he needed, to save. I thought Cremonese played very well. It's interesting to see how lively Vardy looks. Let's remember that last season he scored 10 goals in the Premier League. So you'd imagine that fitness isn't like.
You're right.
Yeah, he's scored in the quote unquote hardest league to score in the world.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
According to most Prem heads.
Yeah, and one thing Cremonese have in their favour is the lack of pressure. They have this whole miracle thing going on that they're gonna do great this season, and they have been doing great so far this season. They're in a really good spot, and the crowd are fully behind them.
They are.
Lovely set of fans, and by the way, Cremona is just south of Milan, so that's a good one to do if anyone wants to like get a triple header, watch Atalanta, Milan or Inter and Cremonese. You can absolutely do it in a weekend. So have fun, guys, enjoy. If you do that, let me know. But I'm also a big fan of Terracciano so far this season, and I think he's one of those players that joined Milan. I'm like, I don't know this guy's position. Is he a right back? Is he a centre mid? Blood is a right centre back. And
it works for him.
He is a right centre back that drives the ball forward.
Yeah.
Good in the air. This is his position.
I'm not so sure if I trust him completely defensively, especially in duels, when defending duels. I think having three defenders protects him a little bit.
Yeah.
But I liked him out wide for Hellas as well, to be honest with you. So far he's been good at Hellas, mech at Milan. I think he cost Milan one game when he started. He never started again or something like that.
Mistake.
And now he's good again at Cremonese, playing this three at the back. So at least he's showing some flexibility and diversity to his game. I was also impressed, bro. I love playing this game. Who impressed you? Bayo, man.
Bayo.
Good hold-up play.
Yep.
Good hold-up play.
True, and we haven't seen much of Bayo, so it was nice to see him in that role, especially with Zaniolo near him. You could see what Runjaic is going for.
Yeah.
There's someone that can hold up play, someone that can break the lines. And with that being said, apart from the jokes about Zaniolo had two detrimental injuries in super quick succession. He tore two of his ACLs, one in each foot. Before that, he was the next big thing. He was Chiesa level in that regard, and we were all so excited for his career. Went from Inter to Roma. His trajectory was amazing. Then he fell out with Roma, went to the Prem, and he flopped there post injuries, of course, and he lost his way. He fell into habits. At least I don't know to what extent that was, but from the reports we could see what he was out doing. You know what I mean?
What he did at that ground, that
it's
stadium was bizarre. Yes.
But I understand that he went through a very tough time, and this goal is great for him, and I am happy for him.
This performance in general, very good performance. even the ball in the build-up.
Yeah.
Before was very
And the
smart.
control
Yeah.
in the build-up as well.
No, he's a player who seems to he seems to carry this villain role with almost pleasure. He enjoys being the villain in these situations. He has, I think, every game I watch of Udinese, he's booed, man. Everyone boos Zaniolo.
He celebrated against Roma, when he had scored against Roma. And
Had he celebrated? Probably. I
Yes,
mean,
yes,
he's honestly taking on the role of a villain, and I love that because football needs villains. They're very important for the game.
Yeah,
You know?
I think so.
Yeah.
Fun fact: Runjaic is the only manager in Serie A that doesn't speak Italian. And
Yes.
what did he say when a journalist brought it up to him?
He said, would you rather have a manager who wins but doesn't speak Italian, or a manager who speaks Italian and doesn't win?
We want a manager that doesn't speak Italian and mainly draws.
Exactly.
That's
You're
what
hired.
Runjaic- That's exactly how the conversation went.
10th place, you're hired.
Yeah. That's enough on this game. On to
Yes.
the next, which is yours, brother.
On to the next game.
القول قول الصوارم كي تسترد المظالم حتى الأراضي نسام رسول أهل العزائم القول قول الصوارم كي تسترد.
So yes, this is the start of our triple haram breakdown over here. No halal can be found over here. The first one is Pisa against Hellas Verona, a relegation 6-pointer.
Yeah.
We're going to call all these relegation
Yes.
6-pointers.
They all are.
Because they all are, exactly. So, starting for Pisa in goal was Schemper. Schemper in goal. What a save by Schemper. I love that commentary. You know it's fucking 3 p.m. bullshit low tier game because that guy's commentating on it, and I am all for it.
exactly.
He's on
Mark,
the cross. Pre-header, pre-header. Good save, Monty Poe. Yeah, but anyway, Schemper was in goal for Pisa in their 3-5-2 formation with Caracciolo, Raul Albiol and Canestrelli starting at the back. This was Raul Albiol's debut and he impressed.
Yeah.
Leris and Angori were on the flanks with Akin Samiro, Abishar and Marin in the middle. Mario and Nzola starting together up front.
Mario.
Hellas Verona played a 3-5-2 formation with Montepo in goal, Valentini, Nelson and Nunez at the back with Cam and Freze playing out wide, Bernade, Gagliardini and Serdar playing as the midfield three with what I am now calling the two red nipples of SofaScore in Gift Orban and Jovan because their ratings are always red and they play up top right next to each other.
Yeah, every time they don't score,
It's a 5.9.
Exactly.
Every time.
Exactly.
And you can see why, man.
Yeah.
I mean, Gift Orban especially is so wasteful. But yeah. So, Pisa controlled 60% of the possession but struggled to convert their dominance into clear-cut chances. Hellas, on the other hand, registered 3 shots on target from 15 attempts but were unable to find the back of the net. Both teams displayed resilience defensively and Montepo made some crucial saves to keep his team in the game. In fact, Sorry. Schemper made good saves to keep his team in the game because he made 3 saves compared to Montepo's fat 0. Exactly. So Pisa's midfield trio of Marin, Akin Samiro and Abishar dominated possession, but their final balls tended to lack precision over and over again. Verona were quite dangerous on the counter-attack, led by the pace of their wingers. But they lacked the finishing touch. I think that this game as well, man, when you look at it was very much decided by these individual moments when Gift Orban should have done better. He had 2 clear-cut opportunities. One of them, he headed the ball upwards, 90 degrees, up, just up, like that. And the other one was just a blatant miss, brother.
I mean, this is the story of the lives of these teams. I believe none of them have won a game so far this season, right? In Serie A, Pisa haven't won a game and neither have Verona. And they both struggle to get goals. I'll tell you the amount of goals these guys scored so far this season. 2 goals for Verona so far this season.
And 3 for
wins.
Pisa.
And 3 for Pisa. 0 wins as well. Verona have 3 draws and no, this isn't accurate. They've got
What do you
I
need?
have to count. 4
Look what you've done to yourself.
4 draws.
Completely on
4 draws and 3 losses for Verona. On the other hand, Pisa,
No one asked.
4 losses and 3 draws.
Okay.
God.
Okay. 0-0, haram ball. Let's move on, bro.
Yes, bro. And on to the next game. I believe this is, yes, my final game. Genoa 0, Parma 0. And the best way that I can describe this game, it's like you have 2 men with erectile dysfunction playing soggy biscuit.
استرد المظالم حتى الأراذيل ساموا رسول أهل العزائم.
Oh my god. That was perfect. You guys planned that?
No.
that was really good.
I spoke too fast and Nick came in a second late and it was perfect.
For those
Yes.
who don't know, what's soggy biscuit?
Everyone knows what soggy biscuit is. I've never played it, but I'm not gonna say names. One of our colleagues played it.
You're serious?
You know this. You know this. One of our colleagues. He's in my team. One of our colleagues.
That's like 3 people, no?
Yes.
Okay.
One dude.
What?
He played Soggy Biscuit with his homeboys when he was younger. Soggy Biscuit is when a group of guys get together, put a biscuit in the middle of them. Last one to ejaculate on the biscuit needs to eat the biscuit. Alright, I definitely don't recommend playing that game, and that's why I've never played it. Genoa have yet to win a game. 3 draws, 4 losses, and just 3 goals scored. Parma have just 1 win. I had them written. Parma have just 1 win, 3 draws, and 3 losses, and also just 3 goals scored. Genoa missed Stanchu and Messias. Parma missed Valeri, Ondrejka, Friggin, and Oristano. It was a 3-5-2 formation for Genoa with Leali in goal, backline of Vasquez, Ostegard. Is it Ostegard? Yes, it is Ostegard, and Sabelli. Ellertson on the left, Norton Caffey on the right, with Frendrup and Mazzini in the middle, and Vitinha and Malinovsky playing behind Caleb Ekuban. 3-5-2 also for Parma, with Zion Suzuki in goal, backline of Del Prato, Circati and Ndai, Almqvist on the right. Good. Brichki on the left, with a midfield trio of Bernabe, Keita and Estevez, with Cutrone and Pellegrino starting up front together. Ndai got sent off for Parma in the 42nd minute for 2 yellows in 5 million. In 5 million. In 5 minutes. Ndai was sent off in the 42nd minute for 2 yellows in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then, after... So firstly, this is my least favorite thing in football. When you get 2 quick
Back to
yellow
back,
cards
yeah.
in succession, especially when there's... Now, he didn't do this, but especially when one of them is for complaining or something.
Yeah,
So this is my
yeah.
second least favorite kind of red card. After that, it was all Zion Suzuki. Suzuki produced an outrageous save from a close range Ekator header in the 81st. And then he saved Cornet's penalty in the 96th minute. With the last kick of the game, he saved that penalty. Suzuki was unbelievable. The save he got on Ekator was one of the saves of the season. Cat-like reflexes, close range. He had no right getting to that, but he did. So, yes, Parma got absolutely fucked by the red card of Ndai, but you have to... Sure, amazing Parma. You didn't manage to concede against Genoa when you're a man down. Amazing. You piled all men back and you contained. And Suzuki had the game of his life even after a penalty was awarded. Genoa, you have to criticize them.
You have to
Because
disappoint them.
last season they let go of Gilardino and Vieira. Vieira was going to get the Inter job, dude. Vieira is so highly... Because of what he did at Genoa. And now he decided to stay at Genoa. It was this big thing that he's staying at Genoa, and they can't win a game this season, even against 10-man Parma, and they're at home. Of course, playing against 10 men is sometimes more complicated, but no, you can't even say that. You're against 10 men. You have to make something work. Genoa shouldn't be a relegation-threatened team. They shouldn't be.
I guess when it comes to the expenditure, you might argue that they should be, but I think they're simply too good, right? There's too much talent over there. I think maybe Vieira needs to be a little bit less pragmatic at times. I think he respects the opponents a little bit too much. Also, on the note of Zion Suzuki, by the way, bro, because he is a player that sometimes you're watching him and you think this guy doesn't have the basics completely nailed down yet, which is quite worrying, right? Like some mistakes positioning, the way he comes out to claim crosses, things like that. But then sometimes when this guy is locked in, his demon mode is unbelievable. This game, man, what a performance!
Yeah,
and this is why you see the likes of Milan linked to him.
Yeah.
Right?
So this is the best goalkeeping performance I've seen so far this season, and I think there was Falcone that had an unbelievable one as well. But this one is my favorite one. Secondly, so 7 saves in this match.
Notice he's 23, which makes sense that you see some mistakes.
It's insane that he's 23. That is one of the best performances I've seen by a 23-year-old goalkeeper. Of course, there's Carnesecchi and Gigio that did at a very young age. But now there's Zion Suzuki. Is he, where you said he still has some mistakes in him, but he is that kind of goalkeeper that if a team gets him now at a good price, because Genoa, they're just happy with a markup, probably. If you get him now, you can have 10 years with this goalkeeper and you can cultivate an absolute monster. He has what it takes. Is now the right time for him to make a step?
No.
Milan hat on. Milan get rid of Magnan in January, or he leaves on a free at the end of the season, and they have to bring in a goalkeeper. Suzuki not good enough.
I think Suzuki is not ready yet. I mean, if you bring him in and you have another goalkeeper who's like, he'd be good, for example, at Inter, and he eases in over summer, but of course they have Martinez, right? I think he needs some more time. The worst thing you can do as a goalkeeper is rush. I mean, a few mistakes and your confidence is shot. You need to really establish yourself and grow in a place where you've got that number 1 spot cemented, you're playing regularly, and you're playing in Serie A. Now, if you tell me Parma get relegated, then yes, he should move to stay. However, I don't think you should aim very big.
Okay.
I don't
What's
think you
the
should.
biggest?
I would. I think like Torino would be nice for him.
You know what would be nice?
Como would be great.
Como
They have
would
a
be
good
nice.
keeper already.
Butez, but Butez is on the older side. He's in his 30s.
Is he?
He's in his 30s.
So it might be a good destination actually. Butez, bro, man, I'm exhausted from laughing. Butez is 30 years old,
it's been a
exactly.
funny
Yes,
episode.
it's been hilarious, man.
Another thing that pisses me off, pedophiles, no, about Genoa is so they have a lack of number 9, and they have Colombo on his like 5th loan in a row from Milan.
That drives me mad, man.
It drives me crazy. Why can't he do it? Why can't he do it, Colombo?
I don't know. I think he had.
He's not good enough. No,
I
He's
think
not
that's
good
what
enough.
it stems down to at the moment, man. I mean, he's no spring chicken.
No, I hope we're the start of his cold compilation reel where he suddenly scores.
I mean,
15 goals this
23 for
season.
a striker, you could actually have a very good. He could go on to have a good career. You know what I mean? It's not too late for him. At least he's playing quite regularly, I guess.
Doing nothing.
The whole thing
He's
with
been
Colombo
dropped. He's been
is
dropped. He didn't
he
start.
needs to adapt to not being the strongest player anymore. Colombo, when he was with the youth teams of Milan, was scoring. I think the stat was a goal every 30-something minutes.
Don't
he
worry, I'm sure all his friends know about that.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's the first thing he says to people in the hangout. You have no idea
he
what
needs
I did
to
for the
do.
youth team.
He needs to do better for sure.
He does need to do better. It's disappointing. Now, he
And-
was a slow burner at
Yeah.
Lecce, where he ended up doing semi-decently. But yeah, I think Genoa might be in the market for a striker in January. Parma, I don't want to go in too much because the red card completely fucked them.
But it's not like they were creating many
It
chances
would be the
beforehand.
exact same thing we've said about Cuesta and Parma so far this season. They
What's Tyson's
nice-
voice note, man?
exactly. Go listen to our last episode where Tyson sent us in a voice
Yeah.
note. It's all bark, no bite.
All bark, no bite.
They're structured. They're sound. They're tough to navigate and play against. And you do see some passages of play that are interesting, but that's as far as it goes.
Yeah.
A bit interesting, really. Is that what you want to be? A bit interesting.
True.
Have some flair, dog. Have
I
some
agree. And
sex appeal.
Cuesta is walking a tightrope right now. I think if I had to look at the managers right now who are potentially in trouble, you have Vieira.
Yep.
I think they won't sack him though. Of course, Gilardino. Of course, because they're dead last. Granted, it's always the case with Gilardino that it looks better on the pitch than it does on the league table. Pioli, definitely. Tudor is a little bit.
Yeah. I'd say those. I'd say those.
Yeah. Absolutely. Do you know I managed to miss a game again?
You did.
No
you
problem,
were
no
supposed
problem.
to do Sassuolo before,
In
but
fact, we will move on to the next game.
is your house a hotel today?
My house is a hotel today. Everyone's coming in and out. Yes, because Sarah's having friends over.
Amazing.
Yes, so we have Lecce 0, Sassuolo 0. So we have
وارم كي تسترد المظالم حتى الأراضي نسام رسول أهل العزائم القول قول الصوارم.
Man, I'm starting to dig that song.
Bro, you know it's hard.
Yeah,
It's hard.
It's
Song's
hard.
decent as well.
It's a good joke, bro. Almost as good as my knock-knock joke. 4-3-3 for Lecce with Falcone in goal, Vega, Gaspar, Gabriel and Gallo at the back with Koulibaly, Ramadani and Berisha in the middle, Pirotti on the right, Morente on the left and Tim Robinson up front. For Sassuolo, it was a 4-3-3 with Muric in goal, Valukovic and Doig as the fullbacks with the beautiful Jaidzes and Romani at the back, Thordsvet, Matic and Vranks in the middle with Berardi on the right, Lauriante on the left and Pinamonti starting up front. Sassuolo controlled possession. They shot 11 times. Lecce shot 9 times. There was a lot of attacking intent from both teams, despite our haram memeage. This game was quite halal in essence. Key players failed to convert chances. There was Falcone who made some very good saves. But there were many missed opportunities, which is a little bit disappointing.
Yeah, would you call them clear-cut chances?
Not clear cut, but for example, Stulic had a low-driven shot that was just wide, to be honest. And right now, for some reason, the chances are escaping me. But I do recall there being, especially on Lecce's end, Lecce were piling the pressure, and they had the better chances of both teams.
Okay.
Yeah. In fact, Sassuolo had a decent attacking spell halfway through the first half, but for the rest of the game, I feel like it was Lecce who were on the front foot when it comes to quality of chances created. XG wise, in fact, Lecce have 0.7 compared to Sassuolo's 0.39.
Yeah, that doesn't exactly scream thriller, right?
Yeah. So you've got the highlights there to refresh the memory.
Our memory a little bit.
In fact, yes, there's that half shot there. This would be hilarious, bro, if we play the highlights and react to them live on it.
Fucking bad, eh?
Yeah, it's a shame we have no rights.
Yeah,
Yes, they're all weak
a few
shots.
half chances for
Also, hate these 2-minute highlights. You can't
Do better,
you can't learn about a game from a 2-minute highlight
No.
clip. I always recommend extended highlights.
Oh, good chance there by Stulic.
And of course the full game.
Ooh, Stulic could have.
Stulic had a decent showing this game. That was a half chance. Was that Lauriante?
Ooh.
Yeah, 2 misses in a row.
Berardi
it was. Yeah. Looked very different from here.
Yeah, but nothing to write home about this game, right? I thought, by the looks of it, I didn't watch this game, but by the looks of it, you're right. Lecce seem to have a bit more to them in this game.
I mean, I missed this game as well, but of course I did some reading and I watched the extended highlights, and it was in fact Lecce who played quite an offensive style. This is what you get with Di Francesco. With Di Francesco, you get a coach who, at his purest, is offensive.
Yeah.
It's only because of the teams he had to coach that he had to make his game into a more defensive
Exactly.
one
He's
and
doing
kind of
himself-
balance it out.
He's doing himself an injustice.
So
'cause
I
the teams he's
like the
joining-
fact that we've seen Lecce play defensively when they had to, but against someone like Sassuolo who aren't even a a team that they should be disrespecting at all, because
No.
offensively, if you attack too much, their counter is very strong.
Mhm.
But they went for it and they attacked, and I respect that. And I think I might have underestimated Lecce coming into the season. This might be Di Francesco's redemption season.
And they currently find themselves, on 6 points, right? They've got a win, they've got 3 draws, and they've got 3 losses. Their win, brother, they've got 2 wins. How does that make sense? They've got a win. No, this is Sassuolo. Sorry,
Yeah,
Sassuolo.
Lecce have
Sassuolo
one
have 2
win,
wins.
one win,
Lecce have
yeah.
1 win exactly, and that
Yeah.
win came against. Just so I keep you guys informed. It came against Parma, away to Parma, which makes total sense. Draws against Bologna, and then their opening match against Genoa. So these are the kind of points that they're racking up, but important nonetheless. Next up, they have Udinese, and after that, Napoli. Of course, Sassuolo have also had a mixed bag. They started a little bit slow with 2 losses, one against Napoli, one against Sassuolo. No, sorry, against Cremonese. They picked up a very impressive win against Lazio, and they also got good results against Udinese and Verona, where they won those games. So they're currently in 9th place. They've got 8 goals scored, 8 goals conceded. I feel like this is kind of where we expect them to be this season, right? Not close enough to relegation, but not quite there yet to start
I
making
think
these kinds of
they'll
pushes.
drop a little bit. I think they're overperforming.
My
right
point
now,
is
yeah.
right. So they're on 10 points, and then there's Cremonese also on 10. There's Udinese on 9, Lazio on 8, Cagliari on 8, Torino on 8.
Yeah,
Kind of in those waters.
Yeah, fair enough. Shall we move on to our segment, brother?
Absolutely.
Yes. If you've made it this far, comment
Wisdom.
comment wisdom. Exactly. Wisdom. With the wank.
I do not
This was me this time.
want that playing when we're
But
wanking.
but it's totally topical, huh? Because
Absolutely.
Simeon Wanko nowadays, we have a quote, of course, but he has been absolutely killing it nowadays in the Saudi league, and the
First division, they
division,
got
right?
relegated. First division doesn't mean top flight. That's the
Exactly.
Saudi Pro League. He's in the first division
Yeah.
with a team that got relegated last season.
and his form is absolutely mental. Like we're gonna pull up his stats right now. I will find them over here so I can read them out for those of you listening. We've got Simi and Wankwo in their last game. He's currently playing for Al Orobah.
Yeah.
And in the last game, he registered 3 goals and an assist. In the game before that, he scored. The game before that, he scored twice. The game before that was a cup game where he didn't feature. And then the game before that, he scored again. So he is basically scoring for fun.
I mean, obviously, he's in the second division of he's in the first division of Saudi. This is a guy that was racking them up in Serie A not too long ago.
Yeah.
Like, and he's he's a freak of nature. He's no, you don't take the piss out of Simeon Wankwo. Even though his surname has the term wank in it.
And our entire segment is dedicated to that. But
Now let me tell you, growth, and funnily enough, his quote is about growth. But growth often
Changes,
loses you authenticity, and it changes you. You'd have a bit of edge to you. You make it to the top. Suddenly, you've got your sponsors. You can't say fuck, shit, and pussy anymore. Don't worry about us.
don't worry about us.
No sponsors here,
no
baby.
sponsors for us. Just Benevo bit. Like
Doesn't-
charity. That's how chill we are, bro.
Exactly. Fucking, you have a charity.
Bring it in.
Come on, bring it here. So Simi has discovered ChatGPT in his time in Saudi. So I am afraid he's lost his edge when it comes to these quotes. They're written really well now, which is kind of lame.
It's got the long hyphen.
He's got the long hyphen.
No
And,
keyboard I've ever seen has that.
Exactly. Sometimes if you double hyphen, you might get it.
No
You-
way. I've never been
come on.
brave enough to do that.
Every day I remind myself, progress isn't always loud. It's built in silence, in the grind, in the moments no one sees.
Toma fucking Basic, bro.
Toma Basic.
That's it.
Toma
That's it.
Basic.
That's it. While he was out of sight, he was working and working and working, and he's in peak physical condition. And now suddenly he got his chance, and he was fit enough to take it.
Exactly.
Always be ready.
Exactly.
Always be semi.
I'm the opposite of that.
Yeah, you're never ready and
no,
always inside.
No, I'm always ready. I'm always ready. What I don't have is the ability to shut up when I'm trying something. So if I take on running,
tell me about it, bro.
I haven't just taken up
During
running, guys,
COVID,
I'm a
this
beast.
guy tried to grow a beard. Every day, he would send me 3 pictures. One of the left profile, one of the right, and one front. Every day. Looking good today, bro. What do you think today, man?
Yeah, it's growing now.
It's growing, huh? Look at that. Look at this coverage.
I quit smoking during the week, guys. It's been 2 weeks. I did. You guys notice I'm a bit like this in the episodes because I've got snoozing. Because you guys just go cold turkey. Yeah, am I right? Actually, it doesn't help you lock in. No, don't do it. But if it's to stop smoking cigarettes, do it. If anyone wants to do the full marathon in Milan with me, then go catch a game in April. We can do it.
And if anyone wants to play FIFA 26, send me a DM. I bought it. It's exactly like the other one.
Literally
Exactly like the other one. I think there are less teams with rights.
Probably. On to the next segment.
On to the next segment, which I totally forgot existed, and now I'm excited. Let's open up YouTube. Let's open up
Sassuolo highlights.
Sassuolo highlights. There we go. Their last match was... There we go. Jay Itzes from Indonesia. Come on, Sam Sulo. Let's win the next match. It says lacks aggression in closing down. He's just shadowing, but oh well, hopefully he'll become an aerial monster. That's the first bit of criticism.
Constructive criticism for Jay.
Hey, absolutely. Jay, it says from Indonesia.
Indonesia is the Portuguese way of saying Indonesia.
Defense is fine, but the attack. I translated that one. Go, Jay, it says. My captain. It says, plays well, clean sheet. Every time. Bravo, it says. Many matches between small Serie A teams and 0-0. Why is that?
Haram,
An
baby.
Indonesian learning. Go, Jay, it says. Optimism, Jay, it says. Jay, it says, and the club will be champion. Bravo. Hopefully they will be the champion. Amen. That was a prayer.
Amen.
That was a prayer.
Amen, dog.
Yeah. I think that's enough. There was one hilarious one. My hero from Indonesia, Jay, it says. Where's the best one, though, man? There was a really good one. What was it, bro? You remember it?
Now, what the hell was it, man?
I can't find it. There's a new one. Jay, it says from Malaysia.
Oh my god.
Everyone's just claiming it. Hilarious.
Jay,
But-
it says from Malta.
Jay, it says from Malta. Yes, hilarious.
There was a hilarious one somewhere. We'll post it on our stories.
Yeah,
if
we'll find it, we'll post it.
exactly. But it's interesting how our outro is always to the Indonesian national anthem. Not complaining. Love you, Indonesia. I hope we have loads of listeners from there. I think that's that. We've
That's
babbled
that.
and made a
We've
bit too
been-
many jokes.
A little bit too funny, this one. Let us know if you like. Jay, it says, is the pride of our nation.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, dude.
Sorry, I thought Nick was gonna play national anthem. I guess
Tried, but it's like I'm gonna be so late.
that's fine.
Amazing.
Guys.
Thank you very much.
We'll catch you all next week. Love you all so much. Smash the subscribe button.
Pork it.
Ciao.
If you like Serie A or have ever liked it in the past, it's a good opportunity for you to listen once a week and you'll get filled in.
The football weekend, that's like the main dish. But then a few days later, you drop your episode and that's like the dessert. And the dessert is just perfect.
It's good, the cake.
It makes it feel like we're all sitting in a room together, just BSing with each other.
The atmosphere is fantastic.
I promise nobody will ask you to send boob pics.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
I love how you go into so much detail and show so much passion towards each and every team. Literally, no team is left undiscussed.
When I listen to you, it's like I'm talking to you in a pub. It's like I'm chatting to a friend and you're chatting to me.